Welcome, everyone, to episode 213 of the Thumbstick Athletes podcast. I'm your host, Dan.
I'm Will.
Corey.
No Eric today. Eric is out of town. Eric was visiting the Big Apple today, so that's awesome.
Getting the last of the stuff out of the Brooklyn studio.
Oh, yeah. We had to have him sign the paperwork for the sale of the Brooklyn studio. That's what had to happen. So for today, we're going to have a new type of episode that Corey actually just suggested this morning. It was kind of last minute, but I really like the idea. We're going to be doing, I don't even know what we're going to call it. Do you know what we're going to call it, Corey? Is it like Gaming A to Z A?
I think the series is like Gaming A to Z, but I think in the titles it should just be like the letter A.
Yeah, okay. That's what I figured.
Because you can't really market it in a title.
Yeah.
So if you make it a little bit vague, at least it has that sort of alluring mystique.
Yeah. I like that. So what these episodes are going to be, basically we're going to be covering the letter A and anything in gaming that involves the letter A. So we were talking about it earlier, and we're going to use this as an opportunity to talk about some of the things in gaming or games or what have you that we wouldn't normally cover. Specifically, like maybe some minor games that would start at least this week with the letter A, stuff like that. So we can cover a bigger variety of topics than we usually do. And we'll, hopefully get all the way from A to Z. Although in the fall we have more game release type episodes. So I wish we had thought about this at the beginning of the summer when we were struggling to come up with topic ideas,
That's all right. That's right.
Yeah.
Basically, we'll be doing these when we couldn't think of anything better.
Yes. And now we have 26 episodes worth of... Oh, we could do numbers, too. If we really wanted to get fancy about it, right?
I would be in for numbers. Of course, there's only, there's a lot of numbers, but...
Well, I would just be numbers.
0 through 9.
All numbers.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, does anyone have anything they want to tease for later on in the episode?
I feel like I do.
Oh, I know one thing you played, but I think we're talking about it next week.
Yeah, Final Fantasy Type 0 HD, the PC release just came out this week. I played about an hour, and I'll talk about my first impressions later on.
And we'll cover it a little bit more in depth next week when we do the episode on it.
I also started playing, and this isn't new, but I started playing it again, Dark Souls. And then I also played the Hearthstone Tavern Brawl for this week, which features some of the newer cards that are coming out in the Grand Tournament expansion later this month.
Nice. Okay. Will?
The new Heroes of the Storm patch went out, so unfortunately everybody has to hear about that later.
No problem. Okay.
That's when I'll take my pee break.
There you go. I don't have anything to tease. I did not get to play a lot of games this week because of Game of Thrones. So I'll probably talk a little bit about Game of Thrones. Corey, I think what I want to do is when I get caught up, we'll do a hangover and talk about Game of Thrones. Probably for a long time.
I think we should do it at the end of every season. How many seasons did you finish the first season?
I just finished the second season.
Oh, geez. So you've been watching a lot.
Yeah. I binged. I was up until 3 o'clock in the morning today. And then got up at like 6:50 or whatever.
We can talk. People like hearing about it, Dan, so we can talk about it.
I don't want to spoil it for people that haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet. So I try to do vague details.
Okay.
I do want to do, maybe we will do spoilers after the first season discussion, and then after the second season we could probably do that.
Yeah.
Instead of just a one big lump.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that another time. So let's start. Letter A. Will, we'll get started with you since you have the most on your list.
Hit it.
Do you want me to go through all of them?
No, just one at a time for now.
Okay, I'll do the first one. Anu, Barak, Asmodan, Arthas, and Abathur are all heroes and Heroes of the Storm.
Okay.
That was a funny one that I wanted to do, because I was struggling to come up with things early, so I did that.
That's nothing wrong with that.
But, yeah. There's that one.
We'll go on to your second one. I would talk
Pally
more about
Time
heroes,
Hero.
but we've talked a lot about heroes.
Okay, so my next one is achievements. Virtual trophies you gather by completing challenges in the game. An example is like getting 10 headshots in a row.
Yeah.
This is pretty much Xbox with the achievements.
Xbox is achievement. Yeah, I mean, everything kind of has its own achievement system now, except Nintendo. And actually, achievements are one of my biggest complaints about Nintendo.
That bothers me too.
I know it's not really anything
Major?
Yeah, but once you play a game that has achievements, it's hard to go back and play a game that doesn't have achievements. It's kind of weird.
It marks your progress without having saved date. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
You feel like you're making more progress.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
And some of them aren't necessarily like achieving something great, but like you said, story progress. And like I always, probably once or twice a day, I go into my Steam activity feed and see what my friends on Steam have been playing and achievements they've unlocked. Like I checked and saw that Corey had gotten a few for Final Fantasy Type O HD, which is how I knew he was playing it, because he had unlocked some of the achievements. So yeah.
And it's always rewarding when you get something, especially with Microsoft, because it just pops up on your screen.
Yep.
And you're like,
the
awesome.
tone is nice. It was the same thing with the PlayStation trophies.
Yeah, the PlayStation trophies does make one.
It's a nice...
the pleasing sound.
Yeah, it's a shot of dopamine, like Corey likes to say.
I think going back to the Nintendo discussion, I think Nintendo would really benefit from having achievements, because their games are the type of games where you kind of want to go in and do those silly little arbitrary goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
It could be something as simple as like jump on a Goomba's head, like skip Goombas 10 in a row or something like that, Yeah.
And
that'd be something fun to strive for.
That would be.
Think of achievements in Mario Kart. It could totally change the way you play Mario Kart, like add a whole other layer to the game.
That's one of the few games I play nowadays that I would be able to get all the achievements in too. I used to try to get all the achievements in all the games that I played. I just don't have time to do that anymore. But Mario Kart is an exception. I've put over 100 hours into it. So
there you go. There's an achievement right there.
That would be great.
Play 100 hours of our game.
Yeah.
Xbox started the achievement thing, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because then PS3 added trophies after.
Yeah. And I know even iOS has the Game Center achievements.
Yep. Google Play has achievements too.
And even games themselves are adopting their own achievement system, like for in-game rewards and stuff.
Yeah. I still prefer the system ones because, like I said, I like to go through and look and see what everybody's achievements are. I don't know that in games you could do that as easily unless you're playing the exact same game.
Yeah. Well, and it also it quantifies, or what's the word I'm looking for? Not quantifies, like validates the amount of time you spent on your hobby. I used to love on Netflix. I don't think you can do this anymore, but it used to be able to look at you had like it was kind of like a social network with friends on Netflix, and you could go and see what your other friends had watched.
Oh,
and
nice.
I'd like try and have the most stuff watched out of all my friends.
Uh-huh.
It was like thousands of things watched compared to, I don't know, it was fun.
Nice.
Ooh.
I'd like to have how many hours I've watched Futurama kept track of. Because every night before bed, me and the wife watch probably at least 2 episodes of Futurama, sometimes 3. So
Achievements for Netflix, that'd be fun.
They have them for the Xbox now.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
What are they?
You could just I saw someone like watching a bunch of episodes of a show before noon is one of them. If you go into your Xbox app on Windows 10, you should be able to, if you have Xbox friends on there, you should be able to see. So I've had
awesome.
gotten
Yeah, they added achievements
Netflix
for that
achievements.
and Amazon. Like I got one when I watched stuff on Amazon.
That's great. How
Yeah,
did
it's
I not
awesome.
know about this?
I don't know. It's something they just did.
That's
like,
it. I'm getting an Xbox.
And I kind of curious, be like, watch Netflix every day for like. I'm wondering like if those are.
And I'll have to look through them and see what they are because I'm sure there's a way to do that. But okay, I'll go next. For my first one, AMD, which stands for Advanced Micro Devices. They make graphics processing units, or GPUs, and processors, competing with NVIDIA and Intel respectively. They purchased ATI in 2006, became the only competitor of note for NVIDIA. The Intel HD series embedded graphics processing units are, of course, in there too, but they're not really considered a threat for enthusiasts' dollars. They're kind of just in your average, ordinary laptops or for your integrated motherboard video. They're based in Sunnyvale, California, and were incorporated in 1969. They had over a $5 billion revenue, or 550. I don't know. I think it was $550 million revenue in 2014, which I thought was a lot.
What the heck were they making in 1969?
Microprocessing stuff.
Wow.
microprocessors,
Crazy.
that sort of stuff. Yeah, I know. I was surprised to hear they started that long ago. But I remember the old ATI cards. Their very first graphics card I put in our big gray computer, the old beige computers, was an ATI graphics card.
It was probably white at one point.
Yeah, it probably was white at one
Just
point.
got cheesy after time.
Yeah. It was an ATI. I think it was an 8 MB graphics card, an ATI graphics card that I put in our computer to play EverQuest.
I remember we went to that
Unicorn.
electronics. Yeah, Unicorn Electronics.
And I had no idea what I was doing, so I just asked the guy. I was like, I need a It was called something else at the time. It was like, I need a 3D capable video card, I think is how I asked him, to play EverQuest. And he just handed me one. It was like, I don't know, $70 or $80, I think. And I went home and I ripped apart the computer, not knowing again what I was doing, and put it in and fired it right up. And that was the start of my computer tinkering.
That's funny because, looking back and comparing that to today, I'm amazed it worked.
Me too. I mean, because there wasn't, nowadays there's all this information on the internet. If you have a problem, you just search for it, and there really wasn't that way back then.
You could have ruined the computer.
I could have ruined the computer and cost mom and dad a lot of money to get fixed, because they had spent a lot of money getting that computer fixed a couple of times, which is another reason why I learned how to do all that stuff myself.
That was the computer gods shining down on you.
Yeah. Yes, it was. Because if I had screwed it up, I probably never would have touched one again. Oh, that's not true. Probably not. Not right away, anyway.
Yep.
So, AMD. What do you got, Corey?
I wanted to get the game that appeared most at the top of the alphabetical lists. And there's a few exceptions, but the one that kept coming up over and over again was A Boy and His Blob, a video game I've heard a ton about. I've never played. Dan, have you played it?
No. Well, Graham had it way back in the day. That's on Nintendo, right?
Yeah, it's a 1989 puzzle platformer for the Nintendo Entertainment System. And the little description is, a boy and his blob follows an unnamed male protagonist and his shape-shifting blob friend on their adventure to save the planet of Blobolonia from the clutches of an evil emperor. Sounds straight out of 1989.
Yes, it does. Sounds like a movie from 1989.
Yeah, right? Actually developed in 6 weeks.
Holy crap.
It's like a month and a half.
That's crazy. That would never happen nowadays.
That is impressive. There was a sequel on the Game Boy titled The Rescue of Princess Blobolonia. People don't talk about that one too often, or at all, for that matter.
I've never even heard of it.
But Games Radar noted the game's significance as the first game with a recognizable AI-controlled partner, which is also interesting.
Yeah.
Again, I hadn't played it because we never owned it.
Nope.
And the franchise was actually revived in 2009 with the Wii game, which I heard is pretty good.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember hearing that it was difficult but good. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. But that's what A Boy and His Blob is.
Cool.
Oh, it's actually on the Virtual Console too. And IGN gave it a 4.5 in their review, but listed it at 74 on their top 100 games on the NES.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, on the NES.
Yeah.
Well, that's not bad though.
After giving it a 4.5.
Yeah.
They usually highball everything too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it
Back
was
then.
also it was reviewed. The review was for the Virtual Console version, and
Oh, gotcha.
I imagine when those top 100 lists for a console are coming out, it kind of takes into account what the game was like playing it at the time.
It should factor in.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Will, next on your list.
My next one is a genre action game, and I have it because it's probably one of the most important genres in gaming right now.
Yeah.
Because everything's an action game, pretty much. There's always a little bit of action in everything.
Yeah, action or first-person shooter.
A game genre that includes hand-eye coordination and reaction time. There's many subgenres such as fighting games, shooters, platformers, and so on and so forth. I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think the most important 3 early action games were? To see if you can guess them.
According to who?
Wikipedia. But once you hear them, you'll be like, oh yeah, okay.
Early action games.
Actiony.
Pitfall.
As a Diablo 2.
Was not on. This is even before that. This is
really?
like in the 80s.
Pitfall.
Nope.
Well, if it was in the early 80s, did you say?
Yep.
Nintendo stuff, probably.
Oh man.
No. Space Invaders.
Yep, that's one of them.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pac-Man.
Yep, that's the other. And one more.
I really want to guess it, but I don't. Is it popular?
Yeah.
Pong.
Nope.
Tetris.
Nope.
That's not really an action game.
I mean, reaction
Puzzle.
time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to come up with it.
Asteroids.
Asteroids. Probably that.
Yeah.
If given enough time.
But those were three. I mean, those are three of the earliest games that I can remember, even for being popular.
Okay.
So I kind of agreed with Wikipedia on that one.
Yeah, I could see that. I was thinking more modern action games, I guess.
Yeah, like a Diablo.
Well, you look at those three games, and they're not really precursors to anything that's popular today.
Right.
I know, right? That's what I noticed too. Because action games are just completely different from that.
Yeah. All right. What do you got, Will?
I have arcades.
Arcades.
Yeah.
A throwback. I mean, everybody knows what an arcade is.
Yeah.
I wish there was more around.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, everybody used to go to an arcade, right, and play stuff there.
Yeah, I mean, I was never
that a thing?
I was I was never into arcades because I preferred to sit by myself and play video games. Big surprise.
Yeah.
Even back then.
Uh-huh.
But Graham, our friend Graham, was big into the arcades. He always went to the. There was one. Was it in the mall?
Aladdin's Castle, yeah, in the Oakdale Mall.
That's it. That's the one he always went to. But yeah, I mean, they're still kind of a thing. I think more so in bigger cities than other places. So
is it one of those like niche things, basically?
yeah, kind of.
That's something that like I never really experienced.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of interested by it.
Yeah.
The whole everybody congregating at an arcade to play a bunch of different games you put your coins into.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind trying it again.
How much money you probably blow?
Probably a lot.
Hey.
So I bet expensive nowadays.
It's called free-to-play games. I mean, come
Is
on.
that the modern day
Sure.
equivalent?
Yeah, think about it. I always talk about, what was that Final Fantasy game? Final Fantasy Record Keeper, where they advertised a certain item you could win by doing the lottery. You weren't guaranteed that item, but you might win it. So you pay and spin the wheel, and you might get that item, and you might not. Which is just gambling. I don't know. It's just gambling to me. I don't know. It seems
Yeah.
crazy.
Right.
You're right about
But
that.
Will, when you're 21, I'll take you to Barcade.
Okay. That's coming up, so
Yeah. Not that
What-
you'd have a beer, but
where's Barcade?
there's a couple in New York City.
Oh, okay. Road trip to the city.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm in.
What's your guys' favorite arcade memory? Well, Will didn't really have any. Dan?
The only one I ever played a lot was at the bowling alley that Mom used to was Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
and Street Fighter.
I think we've told this story long ago, but we were kids, Dan and I. And Dan's a little bit older than me, but how old would you say you were, Dan? When we'd go. We were young.
10.
Yeah, 10-ish. But we'd go with our mom, and she'd bowl, and we'd play on the arcade machines. But we'd only get a certain allotment of quarters. But one time, I think it might have been Mortal Kombat, or maybe it was Street Fighter.
Yeah,
ate
something like
our
that.
quarter, and we went and told the bowling alley manager, and he came and gave us like 100 free plays.
Yeah, he had like a key thing, and he just turned it and set us up with a bunch of free
wow.
tokens or whatever
What a guy.
to play the game.
Yeah.
It wasn't something physical, but yeah, he gave us whatever 100 lives or something like that.
What a nice guy. Thinking back on it, though, I wonder if he was just like, here, kids, get lost.
Yeah, maybe. This will shut you up because
Yeah.
you'll be standing here the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably it, but I like to think he was being nice.
Who knows? But yeah, I don't remember. I remember playing Cruisin' USA,
Yeah, that was a big one.
at the bowling alley in Newark Valley.
Yeah.
That was popular. But then at Aladdin's Castle, I just remember that pizza place being right next to it. And that pizza was good.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of that.
Nor can I. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there was always too many people in there for me. I never, it was it was a scene kind of, and if you didn't practice a lot and were good at it, you'd have your chance, and then you'd have to wait in line for however long until it came your turn again. So,
yeah, and you're right. Like, if you're not a part of the scene, the people that are in the scene want to like talk to you and try and play with you, and it's just like,
well, and it's hard to get better if
Yeah.
if you can't spend the time to get better at the game.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Does anybody remember when Andy Bernard and was it Aaron went to the arcade in The Office?
Yeah,
I do.
that's when they were secretly dating, right?
Yeah, and she thought they were gonna like play games together, and he's like, "Okay, you play this one, I'm gonna play that one, and then when we're done, we'll switch."
It's a great date.
What a show.
All right. I'll go next. Alpha Protocol is next on my list. It's a spy-themed action RPG developed by Obsidian and published by Sega. You play as a talented agent who was cast out by his government, who is the only one with the skills to prevent a global catastrophe. Someone in the Steam reviews described it as a James Bond meets Mass Effect type of game. It got middling reviews, including a Metacritic score of 72 out of 100, but it's got a much higher Steam user score with 82% of users recommending it on Steam. Apparently, it was also a typically buggy Obsidian game. So, Alpha Protocol. It's on my Steam list. I will play it at some point.
I'm not familiar. I have to see some gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, it looks cool. I remember being excited for it when it. Yeah,
Hey.
my laptop was in the process of restarting. So, where was I? Yeah, I remember being excited for it when I first heard about it, and then when it came out, and I read some. Was that you?
That was me
okay.
being
When it
stupid.
went, that's okay. When I read some reviews on it, it didn't review all that well, so I decided to hold off on it and buy it on sale, and then I just never got it. So I think I got it as part of a Humble Bundle, or maybe bought it on a Steam summer sale for like $4 or $5.
Do you remember when it came out? Is it 2010?
It might be 2010. That sounds right.
This gameplay is from 2010, so
Yeah, that sounds about right. But it's different. Like I said, it's a action RPG, an espionage spy themed action RPG, which sounds awesome. Supposedly, it's got quite a bit of replay value too. Like depending on how you play it, you have different outcomes and endings and whatnot. So seems pretty cool. So that's Alpha Protocol. We'll go to you again. What do you got?
All right, one of my favorite games of all time, Age of Empires.
Oh yeah.
Age of Empires is a series of real-time strategy games that were developed by Ensemble Studios, big, huge games, and published by Microsoft. The first one was released in 1997, which was crazy to think about because that was a really long time ago. But then I realized that the third one came out in like 2006 or 7. So it's been a while for Age of Empires.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first one came out in 1997, and the third one came out in 2006.
I think it was 2006, 7, around that time. It's been a while, so.
Yeah.
Because I was playing it back when you used to live at home, Corey.
Oh yeah. Well, I think we had the first one on our first home computer, I believe.
Uh-huh. I didn't really play the first one.
No, we
that
only had
much.
Age of Empires 2. I think we only had AoE 2.
No,
Oh.
we had the first one.
I don't remember ever playing the first one.
I'm sorry, the third one came out in 2005.
Okay. Pretty sure it was only 2, Corey, because we didn't have a computer much before
Oh, you're right.
2000, really.
Yeah, you're right.
Make another Age of Empires, please, Microsoft.
I heard they're working on one,
Oh, you
right?
know what? I think I did play the first one at some point, like a demo.
Yeah.
And then there was that Rise of Rome?
Rise of Nations.
Age of Empires Rise of Rome. Yeah, that was like an offshoot.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
I'll go next, and then Corey will go. Atari, founded June 27th, 1972. It was an early gaming hardware manufacturer. They made the Atari 2600, Lynx, and Jaguar systems, but they also made home computers, including the Atari ST, which we owned. You guys remember the Atari ST computer?
Indeed.
That we played Moon Patrol on?
In Bentley Bears Math.
Bentley Bears Math. Well, there was another game with a weird mouse with a mustache.
Crystal Castles.
Crystal Castles. There was that one, but there was it was like a trivia one.
Trivia Crack?
No, I don't know. I'll never remember the name of it, but we did have one of those. Apparently, they were pretty highly thought of gaming computers because of their colorful graphics on the screens.
Yeah,
So,
Crystal Castles was awesome.
I really like Moon Patrol too.
Yeah,
I remember
Moon
spending
Patrol
a
was
lot of
fun.
time playing Moon Patrol. But Atari's changed hands a few times, but were purchased by Infogrames, and now the whole company is called Atari SA and is focused on social gaming as well as real money gambling games. I checked their library of games that they have for sale.
Heavy hitters.
The only thing that was cool was like Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, maybe that was on their digital sale thing. There wasn't a lot there, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, that is not good.
Yeah, but Atari. I only had limited experience with the Atari 2600 too. One of my friends had it back in the day. I only played a few different games on it. It was well after Nintendo had been out, so I was like, yeah, it's fine, but
Yeah, it's not
Nintendo's
Nintendo.
better.
So the NES came out and then the Atari 2600?
No, the Atari 2600 came out first
Oh, okay.
by like 10 years, I think.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that. It's that much of a difference.
Yeah, I was old at that point when I finally got a chance to play. I was probably like 7 or 8, maybe. So it had been out for
That's crazy to
15
me
years or
that-
whatever.
that there's like game consoles I have just zero experience with
Yeah.
to think about.
Yep, before your time.
Yeah.
So that's Atari. Will. Or no, we're going to Corey.
Corey.
Corey, what do you got?
Yeah, I've got one called Absolute Entertainment, which is an old, now defunct publisher, and was also the publisher of A Boy and His Blob. So I wanted to bring up this whole A to Z series. What I think I like most about it is the ability to like go down the internet rabbit hole
Yeah.
and just dig up all this stuff that most people have never heard of.
Yeah.
I'm sure some people have heard of Absolute Entertainment, but I certainly hadn't. It is now no more, but it was founded by Gary Kitchen, who formerly worked at Activision in 1986, and he brought along his buddy David Crane, who was the designer of A Boy and His Blob. The most interesting part to me about Absolute Entertainment is, according to Wikipedia, the name was chosen because it was alphabetically before Activision, which is the company they left.
Oh.
Which
Really?
is also interesting because Activision's name was based on it being alphabetically before Atari.
Oh. That's interesting. Because that stuff probably mattered a lot back then
Yeah.
when you're looking up lists of things.
When you pull out the phone book of video game publishers. Oh,
That's
Absolute
fascinating.
Entertainment's number one. But it was shuttered in 1995 after they released about 30 titles. Couldn't keep the lights on. But Gary Kitchen and David Crane then founded Skyworks Interactive, which is a publisher that now makes mobile games and pushes advert gaming, and apparently is very successful.
Huh.
So,
Good for them.
They made out all right.
yeah. In the end, that's the way to go, I guess. If you're a talented, venerable game designer, just make mobile games.
Low cost for a possible high reward.
There you go. Konami.
Yep. Konami.
Konami.
That's Absolute Entertainment.
All right. My next one is also a publisher developer, Atlas. Founded in April 1986 and headquartered in Tokyo, Japan. Developed popular titles such as Shin Megami Tensei series, Persona series, Etrian Odyssey series. They also publish and distribute games. They published Demon Souls, too, which I thought was interesting, being that was developed by From Software and published by Atlas. That was the only notes I took for Atlas. Unfortunately, I ran out of time to finish that.
Do you think Demon Souls is going to come out for PC?
No, I don't. I wish it did, but I don't. I don't know. See, my thinking is after everything, I think everything should come out on PC eventually. I mean, obviously that's kind of a self-serving thing, but people have kind of, I mean, they haven't forgotten about Demon Souls, but you're not going to sell a bunch of new copies of Demon Souls. But if you put it on PC, I guarantee they would probably make that money back.
Well,
because a lot of people, Souls fans that maybe latched on starting at Dark Souls 1, or even me, like I didn't start until Dark Souls 2. I would love to go back and play that now. And like I said, you're not missing out on selling any copies on the PS3. Just put it on Steam. See how many copies you sell.
I'm curious how much it costs to port it to PC.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it depends, and there's the whole online thing too. That's another added expense. But as far as I know, Steam makes that stuff relatively easy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a developer, but everything seems to.
We're not.
No.
We're not developers.
Nope, we're pundits.
Oh, here you go. Sony owns the Demon Souls IP, not From Software.
Okay, so a little bit like Bloodborne.
So it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way about Bloodborne. Like after the hubbub about it has died down, and the PS4, once you're not going to sell a bunch of new copies for it, why not put it out on PC? And you're not cannibalizing your sales in any way.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is on PS3, right?
Demon Souls,
yeah,
PS3.
Okay,
PS3 exclusive.
Yeah, because as soon as I beat Bloodborne, I was like, I need to play some more Souls, and I hadn't played Demon Souls yet. And I was trying to find it on PC, but it doesn't exist. So I went back and played Dark Souls.
See, I mean, they lost a sale right there.
Yep, I would have bought it.
I would have it too. I would have it in my library.
If it was like, I probably would have only paid up to like 25. I think would be the max I'd pay for it.
Yeah,
but
that's fair. That's about what you would pay for most ports of older games. Just usually like in the $20 to $25, maybe even $30 range.
Yeah. But it's not like Sony is going to lose money by putting it on the PC. I don't understand.
I wouldn't think so. Like I said,
make a ton of money still.
They're not cannibalizing their sales in any way.
No.
So, I mean, even if Bloodborne comes out, if they were to release on PC, if it was a year from now, you're not going to sell a whole lot of new copies of Bloodborne at that point. So,
yeah. I don't know. That's a bummer.
They must hate money. I mean, Sony is not a very well-run company, right?
Sony hates money. I don't know how much I can talk about that on the podcast, Dan.
Right.
God damn.
Well, I mean, you've talked about your experiences, and from your experiences, we can glean that at least some of the parts of it were not well-run.
Yeah, I mean, I worked in the music arm of Sony, so. I can tell you that part of it is kind of a mess.
Yeah. Okay.
But, I mean, I think that's also the music industry in general at this point.
Right.
I can't attribute it all to Sony.
Correct. Okay. Will, what do you got?
My next one's Angry Birds.
Angry Birds.
This is a video game franchise from Finnish developer Rovio. If you guys were to guess how many games from the main series, the spin-offs, and the crossovers, how many games would you say?
22.
Oh, are you talking downloads, or how many games do they have?
Games total.
Yeah, it's in the 20s, I think, or 15 maybe.
22.
22, yeah. We covered that, or Corey did that when we covered Angry Birds too, right?
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot about that. Dang it.
I was gonna say they have like 2 billion downloads or something like that.
Oh,
Crazy.
it's ridiculous.
Crazy, yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
First one came out in December of 2009, so.
I actually really liked Angry Birds.
I did too.
I liked Angry Birds and then Angry Birds Space.
I've been playing Angry Birds too. It's all right. It's fun. For what it is, for a quick little toilet game.
Yeah. That doesn't try to disguise itself as anything else, really, right?
No. Nope. And I haven't gotten to the point where I hit the paywall, so.
Okay. That's good.
Huh.
Not yet, anyway. Not that far into it.
Right.
20 levels, maybe? Huh?
It's free, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
FTP.
Free to play.
Yep. Okay. Go ahead, Will.
Last one. A. The antagonist from Pretty Little Liars.
What's your name?
Sure name?
What's Shim's name? What's
he or she's name?
What's that gender neutral word that the Swedish are using, or the Finns? Hen?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Maybe.
What's Hen's name?
Oh, well, it's funny you mentioned that because A, they decided to make transgender show. By the way, I'm not watching the show anymore until it's all done on Netflix.
I don't like to watch shows as they come out either. I don't like to wait.
They burned all the fans.
Oh, really?
With their most recent episode.
Huh.
Disgusted.
It's funny, Mom and Dad came to visit me this past weekend, and that was the one bit of information I had about Will, was how Pretty Little Liars had really upset him.
Yeah. It's funny too, because I'll go there and Will won't be home, and Mom and Dad will have zero idea where he is.
Yeah.
I'm like, where's Will? What's he up to? And they're like, I don't know. He might be working. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I had no idea they went up to Corey's.
Yeah.
We just don't know what's going on with each other's lives.
Yeah.
That's
Just go about your business.
That's funny. Well, Alison called Mom, and I had told Alison I was very upset about the Pretty Little Liars mid-season finale, and that's must be where Mom got.
Yeah, she didn't even get it from Will. It's probably from Alison.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's really funny that that's the only bit of info you got.
Sorry your show bummed you out, Will. I was trying to think of a time, like one of my favorite TV shows, I got really mad at it. Like, things can happen in the show that upset me, but that's all part of the enjoyment of the show versus, like, them doing something that I'm just like, no.
Well, this is the thing. I don't want to talk about Pretty Little Liars because I know nobody cares, but I want to say that this is like a mystery show and like a show about like killing and stuff like that.
Sounds like you're already giving it too much credit.
Yeah, but the person that they made the main antagonist isn't the issue. But the storyline that they went with it, like, I don't have a problem with the transgender storyline, but it was obviously last minute that they did it. And then they said that all their past episodes, that the details don't matter and stuff like that, and they messed up the timeline, and they said that doesn't matter, but this is a mystery show. Like, the details and the timeline are all very important.
Yeah.
So, like, they're basically saying the fans were stupid who postulated all these theories and whatnot, and that none of the details actually matter.
Then what's the point of watching the show?
That's what I said, and that's why I'm not going to bother with it. Because there was only one character in my head that made sense for the antagonist, and they basically said, oh, no, we never made him shady, when they very clearly made him shady.
Oh, yeah, we did that, but that wasn't anything. That was just...
Well, because somebody said so in an interview, so, like, basically he did nothing shady when he made these calls and whatnot, and like, oh, yeah, he was not doing anything wrong at the time. It's like, bullcrap.
You didn't imply that.
Yeah, they...
Unbelievable.
The writers are terrible on that show.
Well,
so I need a new teen drama.
Heroes, after the first season, was mostly a train wreck. So I kind of feel your pain, Will.
Yeah.
But Heroes Reborn starts up in September. So that'll be the one show I have that I watch week to week, probably, as long as it's good.
Mm-hmm. So they're rebooting?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's supposed to take place a few years after the events of finishing up I don't even know what season they finished. And I stopped watching it, I think it was partway through the third season. Second season was awful.
You fought through it.
Yeah, I suffered through it thinking it would get better, and it didn't. But
they jumped the shark.
I don't even know. It was just bad. Like their first season might have been the best season of television I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
That was
after watching Game of Thrones, Dan.
At the time I hadn't seen Game of Thrones. Obviously, this was years ago, but that was the very first show I actually legitimately binge watched 5 and 6 episodes at a time when I had a lot of free time. You're right. Now, Corey, it would probably be Game of Thrones, but at the time it was definitely Heroes as the first show I binge watched.
Really enjoyed.
Yeah, bought the DVDs, and I think the first season was on Netflix, maybe. When I first got Netflix.
Have you finished the series? Or did you give up on it?
I gave up.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I've realized, this is the last thing I want to say, shows that I think the perfect season length is like 10 to 15
yeah.
for episodes. I don't think you can do a 25 show, like, episodes for a season anymore.
Except for maybe a sitcom.
Yeah, okay.
But most of and that's more like
You're right.
it's kind of throwaway
Yeah.
anymore,
Because
in my opinion.
they just they do too much filler. They
Yeah.
try and drag everything along.
I agree
It's
with
bad.
you.
It's
Yeah.
frustrating.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
that's my 2 cents.
We'll take a quick break. I gotta figure out the computer thing. We'll take a quick break and be back with Nibblebits and our weeks in just a minute. Okay. Yeah, my computer decided to restart when we were recording, so I'll have to record from the Twitch stream.
Cool.
Half of the main segment, probably.
Cool.
I'm going to run out and pee, and then we can...
Hopefully it doesn't mute it.
Oh, man.
Hopefully it doesn't mute what?
The audio. They mute audio now.
Really?
Yeah, if there's any kind of licensed content playing.
There isn't.
I hope not.
What, you mean Libsyn?
No.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry about Twitch.
Twitch.
So all I do is the part that I miss, like I'll play on the laptop, on this laptop, and record it with the other one.
Why don't you just rip the audio file from the feed?
It's just easier to have it play and record out. I just set it and let it.
Oh,
let it
you're not like recording from a speaker. You're recording through the...
through the mixer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's all I have to do.
Gotcha.
Yep. All right, but I'm gonna pee. Burb.
Yeah, I'll be right back. You're on your own, Will.
Oh, God.
Don't burn the place down.
I'll try not to.
Okay. Back now.
Hi, Dan.
Howdy. Oh, God. You go call up the chat while I'm
Sitting
waiting
around.
for Corey.
I really want to play something when I go home, but
You mean something other than Heroes?
yeah. But I should go to bed.
Oh, yeah. Yes, you should. No, I would never encourage someone to go to bed.
I do love sleep, though, Dan.
Like, even though I got 3.5 hours of sleep last night, I'm probably not going to just go upstairs and go to bed.
How do you do that?
Uh,
Are you just that used to...
yeah, it's a little bit of being used to the sleep deprivation, and it's also a lot of caffeine. Like, I drank 2 pots of coffee today to keep me going.
Dear Lord.
Yeah. So. Although, like, probably the past 2 or 3 weeks, I have been getting more sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Because the wife's been going to bed earlier, so I just go to bed when she does. When she's, in her college classes, by the time the kids both go to bed and are settled down, she starts her schoolwork, which was taking her till 2 in the morning. So I would just, I would stay up.
Yeah, just kind of be there.
Yeah. Playing video games while she's doing her schoolwork.
Attaboy, Dan.
Yeah. I'm not going to sit there and watch her do her schoolwork. She just likes having me up.
Having the company.
Yeah.
Somebody to talk to and...
Yep.
God.
Oh, good, Jake. Jake. That's probably the only piece of feedback we're gonna get to is the email. Your email. Part of the I don't know if you've noticed. Well, you probably haven't noticed, but when I put something on Facebook, like only like 10 people see it. I don't know why that is. Oh, it's Corey. Maybe he knows.
Corey's the Facebook guru.
Yeah. Corey,
What?
I wanted to ask you, like, whenever I put something on Facebook, I think the post that I put, what was it, yesterday, only got like 10 views.
Yeah.
What gives with that? Like, what's...
It's the bait and switch, man.
I know, but what's the secret of... There's got to be like a method to the madness. I know they want you to spend money on advertising, but... What?
No, that's exactly it.
It's stupid.
People have to. You have to go in and manually click that you want to see Thumbstick Athletes posts in order to see all of them.
Right. We should. I mean, really, our Twitter is better for that sort of stuff.
Sure. Yeah, Twitter's way better. But Twitter's stuff also gets lost in the shuffle more easily.
Yes, it does.
There's no easy way. You just hope the people that care to watch catch the posts and.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this one only has.
The one you put up today?
Yeah, 25.
That's
Some of
crazy.
it's timing too. Like.
Yeah, because I put mine up at night. It was like, I don't know, 7:30, 8 o'clock maybe at night.
Yeah, it seems like the earlier in the day, the better usually.
Yeah. I try to
see.
post around midday for our
Yeah.
West Coast listeners.
Yep.
Because they'll be, whatever, on their way to work or have just gotten to work or have just gotten up for work. So,
Yeah, yeah. And of course, the more people that like it and stuff and comment on it, the more visible it is. But yeah, no, they at first they show it to a lot of people, so it looks like, oh, this is a really good tool to market my stuff, and then they slowly scale it back to the point where it's like, well, I got to spend some money so people keep seeing it.
yeah.
That's disgusting.
It's a shady, shady business. Will Valerie says, I hope Will talks Pretty Little Liars and A.
I can talk about that all day.
Just like I could talk about Game of Thrones all day now.
Exactly. I'll have a chat with her about it. I don't care.
There you go.
By the way, Dan,
Yo.
times, since is that
They're gonna be they're gonna be messed up, so
Okay.
don't worry about it.
All right, so just write down everything else with the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to fill those in later. Ugh. All right, shall we?
About lunchtime is best, Jake says. Yeah, for our episode post, ideally I do them the night before we record and schedule them to post at like 12:30ish. And that seems to do the best time-wise.
Yeah.
And
12:30.
that's also like morning time on the West Coast, so like you said, people are going to work,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know.
On the commute, stuck in traffic in Los Angeles, probably.
What we need to do is start getting people's mailing addresses and send out mailers.
Yeah.
Episode 213.
That'd be cool.
Through snail mail.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's why I think like most people don't even, not most people, but like a few people don't even know we're recording until we go live because they get an email.
Yeah, I know it.
And they're guaranteed to see.
I wonder if you had mentioned doing the mailing list. I wonder if that would be a better route to go than, because I almost don't want to put anything on Facebook because nobody ever sees it.
Yeah, it's stupid.
I wonder if it has anything to do with me not really being active on Facebook too when I put stuff like.
No, I've put stuff up. The one I put up today, 25 people saw.
Okay.
I mean, 15 saw the one you put up yesterday. Our last episode, only 37 people. 21 the one before that. I mean, it's not.
And then 300 for the one with our little nephew on it.
Yeah.
But that was a heavily shared one, because it was adorable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it was beautiful. And yeah, I don't know.
well, whatever. It's making me angry. Let's start the episode again.
I gotta get another drink.
Okay.
Corey.
I really don't have a lot to talk about for the rest of the episode, so it's probably going to end up being a short one.
And I don't think we got much feedback. Jake said he just sent an email.
Jake sent one.
I don't know.
I don't know that there was anything else.
A little bull crap.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're
Well,
good
of
at
course.
Fake it till you make it.
I mean, as I said, I could talk about Game of Thrones for a good long while.
Oh, Jake had a question of the week answer. At least we got one.
Yeah.
What was the question?
Last gaming binge.
Oh yeah. Okay, I remember.
All right, ready?
No.
Gotta get a drink, Dan.
Oh, I thought you already got a drink. Dang it.
He would be so mad if we did that.
Although we did delay the episode today like 20 or 25 minutes or whatever it was.
That'll happen.
My stupid laptop. God dang it.
I don't have to be up, so I don't care.
Well, I thought this was going to take a lot longer than it did.
Yeah.
But
I can't wait for Taco Bell now.
that sounds really, really good.
I have a problem, Dan. I got Taco Bell 7 days in a row.
Really? What's your jam at Taco Bell?
Get a number 7.
What's that?
Which is the soft taco and the quesadilla with the drink.
Uh-huh.
And then I usually get a shredded chicken quesarito and a beefy nacho loaded griller. It's like $13 total.
Does coffee go bad, Dan?
In the fridge?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you put it in the fridge in like a sealed container, it'll last like 2 weeks, probably.
Because I made this last week, and it's just been sitting in this jar open in there.
Oh, as long as it doesn't have mold growing on it. When I was a barista, we would it'll probably take on the flavor of the fridge a little bit more than like go bad. When I was a barista, we used to throw our iced coffee away every night. Like if it didn't sell over the course of 24 hours, we would get rid of it. But
Probably, is that just because of the taste, like it bitters or something?
no, I think it's like food safety nonsense.
Whatever.
I leave that stuff in my fridge for a while. It's fine.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't have anything growing on it, it's fine.
I don't see anything, but maybe that's why I've been so ill.
It would have mold like growing on the top of it, probably,
Doesn't
or
smell.
on the inside.
Doesn't taste too funky.
Yeah, like I said, that takes on the taste of the fridge or freezer if you're freezing it. Like if you make coffee ice cubes, that'll take on the.
Did I tell you guys about the time we had the rotten onion
No.
in Brooklyn? Hey, Mr. Gamer every day. In Brooklyn, we had a fridge, and it was chock full because there was 5 people living in the house.
Yeah.
And I started noticing this taste in everything, and it was like really hard to explain, but it was like sort of metallic and really bitter. And I couldn't figure it out for the life of me, and I thought I looked all over in the fridge and couldn't find anything rotten. So I assumed like the fridge was leaking coolant or something like that, and it was flavoring all our foods. It was really heavy chemical taste.
Uh-huh.
But eventually I uncovered at the bottom of the vegetable drawer, there was an onion that had rotted. And everything in the fridge just had this awful, nasty, metallic, chemically taste.
Rotted onions are disgusting.
Probably hard to get rid of too.
Oh my god.
Was a new onion growing inside of it?
I didn't even look. I just saw.
I had one that I left on my counter all winter, and there was a new onion like growing inside of it in the spring. It didn't like get moldy or anything, but it started to sprout in the spring.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. Ugh.
Onions are kind of gross.
I love onions.
How dare you?
They're delicious.
You should see my onion crops in the backyard.
No, they're delicious.
You got an onion crop?
Mm-hmm.
You should grow leeks.
Yeah.
Is it a sweet onion, Dan?
I have red onions, I have white onions, and yellow onions.
Are you going to go off the grid, Dan? Or are you just setting up for your...
I wish. I need technology, specifically computers. I can't go off the grid. I could didn't have a cell phone for a couple of years. That was fine.
Dan's getting on the grid. He's got a cell phone now.
I know I do have a cell phone. I'm being tracked.
Thinking about going back to a flip phone. A burner phone like drug dealers use.
Yeah. Just so you can call someone if you absolutely need to.
Or sell drugs.
There's that. Yeah, my onions are like, the stalks are like stomach high.
Keep in mind, I love onions. I'm just saying when they rot and stuff.
Yeah, I've never had a rotted onion. I don't think we go through tons of onions though. But anyway, let's get started on the episode.
Are you a hobbit, Nan?
I'm growing peppers, onions, and tomatoes.
We got to get you one of those old corn pipes, and you can.
I would love to blow smoke rings.
There you
just
go.
sit in the backyard and blow smoke rings.
Sit on your back porch.
All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 213 of the Thumbstick Athletes podcast. We are now in our Nibblebits segment. I will go first. Square Enix announced this week at the D23 Expo. I think it's D23. It might be D23, but that Kingdom Hearts 3 would be getting a Big Hero 6 world. There's not a lot of other info yet on Kingdom Hearts 3, but I love the movie Big Hero 6. I've watched it quite a bit. It's one of my son's favorite movies, so that's exciting. Corey, Big Hero 6?
I'm a Big Hero 6 fan.
Yeah.
So that's cool to me, and I still, if my girlfriend ever listened to this podcast, I still want the, what's his name?
Baymax.
I want a Baymax. Even if it's just a little figurine I can put on my desk or something. I want one.
Baymax is a really cool robot.
Yeah, he is.
I like the idea behind it too. Like, it was created as like a medical assistant, I guess.
Yeah.
For lack of a better word. It's really, really neat robot, and the main character kind of figures out how to weaponize him a little bit. So it's very cool. I guess if you haven't seen the movie, I don't want to spoil too much of it for you, but I like the idea of normal people using technology to become superheroes. That's kind of a cool thing too. It's a good movie, really good movie.
Just on Netflix?
No, I don't think so. There's not a lot of the popular Disney movies on Netflix, is there?
Yeah,
especially the animated ones.
You're right, not the popular ones, but they do have a lot of movies on there. My girlfriend and I just watched The Rescuers.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Which I had never seen the original one. I'd only ever seen The Rescuers Down Under, but The Rescuers is really good. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
Disney has a lot of movies on there. Just you're right, none of the ones you really want to watch.
Like Frozen's not on there.
No, it was for a while though, wasn't it?
I doubt it.
No,
because they still sell that for like $25 on Amazon.
oh my god,
And people buy it. Like because we transitioned over to Blu-ray starting like maybe a year and a half ago, and all of our DVDs. Like, it's hard to watch a DVD now when you're used to Blu-ray, the quality, picture quality.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in the process of slowly upgrading our DVDs to Blu-rays. So like Finding Nemo is still like $20 on Amazon.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know, and that's kind of an old movie. So
that's crazy. Mm-hmm. Didn't know it was that expensive.
I think Cars cost me like $24 or something like that for the Blu-ray and DVD. But like I said, I don't really watch DVDs anymore. So
yeah,
there's that. And then my last nibble bit: Final Fantasy VII has begun to roll out on iOS devices. Apparently, it was announced at E3 that Final Fantasy VII was coming to iOS. I do not remember that.
I think
might have been E3 last year.
I think I tweeted it at one point.
Did you?
Yeah.
I think they said it during the Square Enix conference because I do remember hearing it.
I kind of tuned out on that one. That's probably why I missed it.
I actually think it was later because there was some confusion about whether they were announcing that the remake was coming to iOS or if this was just the PC port.
Gotcha.
Which it is the PC port. It's not the
PC version. Yep. PC PS4 version is came to iOS. So that's good.
I do not see it in the App Store currently, so I don't.
Yeah, I just saw that it had begun to roll out.
Yeah.
So I don't know what devices are capable of running it or not. Will, do you want to check and see?
The App Store is also weird because sometimes you can get like a direct link to something in the App Store that won't show up if you just search for it.
Yeah.
I remember that was the case with Fallout Shelter when it came out that night of the Bethesda press conference. I couldn't find it by searching for it, but I got a direct link to it, and there it was.
Yeah.
Didn't find it.
Not on there. Okay. I meant to check on one of our iPads, and I just forgot, of course. So that's my Nibble Bits. Corey, what do you got for Nibble Bits?
I have quite a few, per usual.
Nothing wrong with that.
Come on.
I'm a nibble-bitten fiend. Hearthstone added a new incentive to ranked play in the form of bonus chests. We talked about this a few weeks ago, but as it stands, there's currently no incentive to, or there was no incentive to doing ranked play. Whether you were rank 20 or legend, you got the same reward, which is a little bit silly because you put all that time into it, and it's like, well, what's the point? You know,
Yeah,
there's
right.
no benefit. All you get, everybody would get the card back, which is just silly.
Right.
Yeah, that is silly.
So now it gives you a chest of rewards that scales based on the rank you hit up to rank 5, I believe. And beyond that, you just get additional dust. But the chests you get contain a lot of golden cards, which is nice because they can be disenchanted for a lot of dust. So if you don't get a card you want there, you can just disenchant it and put that dust toward a card that you do want.
Oh, okay.
But I think
Nice.
that's a really good move on Hearthstone's part. And I saw some people complaining like, "Oh, you know, the rich only get richer." And it's like, "Well, no, cuz people work really hard to get up in rank and they should be rewarded for it."
Yeah. It's like you said, it's not easy to get to the top rungs, you know.
Oh, no, not at all.
So,
So I'm curious to see what I'll get. I usually a good month for me is like rank 13. A not so good month is like rank 17 for me, and everywhere in between.
yeah.
But I'll get some good stuff. I don't pay for card packs at all. I only use my coins, so I still have a lot of holes to fill. And now that they're going to release the Grand Tournament expansion, there's going to be a lot more cards
Oh yeah.
that I'm going to need to win. But I've been saving up my coins as of last week. I think I have like 600. So
That's
I can't wait. I really can't wait.
good.
Rainbow Six Siege has been pushed back to December 1st.
Darn it.
Darn it. Ubisoft cited player feedback based on the feedback they were getting for their... I guess they have like a closed alpha or closed beta at this point. But on the Ubisoft blog, they said improving the things they were doing are improving the co-op experience across all game modes, weapon and gadget balancing, as well as menu and interface navigation. And that stuff doesn't sound too scary. It doesn't sound like they have some serious issues they need to work on.
Right.
Um,
Just tweaks.
Yeah.
It sounds like some tweaks, which
That's
is
fine. I'd rather
a
they
good thing.
obviously at this point we're on board with delaying your game so that it comes out and it runs.
Yeah, and it's not too far. It's just I forget what the original release date was.
It's like a month and a half. It was mid-October, I think.
Yeah, it's like October 13th.
Yeah, December 1st. That's fine. And the closed beta will still begin on September 24th. Are any of us in the closed beta? Do we know yet?
We got.
It's a good question.
I think Idaho Jake sent us.
He sent
Beta.
us for the Division.
Oh, the
Or
division.
maybe he did send for Rainbow Six too. Maybe I signed up for it. I don't know.
It's in the email.
Hmm.
In our email. I don't recall specifically. I thought it was Rainbow Six, but
I think
could be the division.
I think it might be the Division.
Yeah, I don't know. I signed up for the beta. I don't know if I'll get it.
I know he sent us one for the. He's in the chat. He'll chime in at some point.
Yeah.
Windows 10 can apparently find and disable pirated software.
Oh boy.
There's not too much info about this yet, but apparently Microsoft updated its end-user license agreement, and in it, it revealed that the operating system is capable of identifying pirated software and shutting it down. The actual legalese says, we may automatically check your version of the software and download software updates or configuration changes, including those that prevent you from accessing the services, playing counterfeit games, or using unauthorized hardware peripheral devices.
Huh.
So I guess GameSpot and some other publications have reached out to Microsoft for some official clarification, which they haven't given just yet. But CNET speculates, quote, although Microsoft is yet to provide official clarification on the matter, reports have suggested the end-user license agreement cited pertains to Microsoft services as opposed to the Windows 10 software itself. This means the changes made to the license agreement were intended to protect against illicitly obtained Xbox Live and Windows Store content, not all pirated content on a PC, which makes a little more sense to me.
Yeah.
The Xbox PC integration is a big deal, and
Yeah.
if they can, I know like it's so much easier to do illicit things on a PC than it is on an Xbox. So if they can nip that stuff in the bud now, it's probably
Yeah.
in their best interest.
Before it becomes a problem when people are playing the same game on PCs as Xbox Ones,
Right.
the hacking and stuff. Yeah, it's definitely a lot easier to do on a computer.
Yeah, and this is also like a really good gesture of goodwill to publishers and stuff for Microsoft to do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Probably puts them in their good graces. Although the pirates probably aren't too thrilled if it does extend to pirated software on the PC.
Yeah, but they'll find a way. They always do.
There's always a way. You can't stop piracy.
No.
Did you turn off all the privacy? Turn on all the or off, depending on which way it should go. All those privacy things in Windows.
Most of them, yeah.
There's a lot.
Yeah, I know. There's a bunch of guides out there though. If you're interested, just I think like maybe Lifehacker had one or Gizmodo or someone like that. They had a guide on how to disable the tracking stuff in Windows 10. So.
Yeah, and the most offensive one to me is that they can use your bandwidth.
Yeah.
To help people install Windows 10.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
How dare they?
I know. Well, that wouldn't be a problem if we had faster internet here.
Yeah. I'm all for file sharing, as long as it's legal file sharing, as long as it's, not this. Because didn't Apple do something like that too? Where they used your bandwidth to help other people install stuff or download stuff faster?
There's some games that have done that too.
Yeah. And I'm totally fine with that. I feel like I downloaded an MMORPG through the Pirate Bay. Or a torrent, I should say.
Yeah. I don't know.
This one's for you, Dan.
Okay.
Skylanders is getting its very own collectible card game battler.
I was going to tweet that myself, but I saw that it was already taken.
Skylanders Battlecast. I like that name.
Mm-hmm.
Battlecast. And I saw I think it might have been a Kotaku headline that said it's essentially Hearthstone for children, which made me think I thought Hearthstone was Magic the Gathering for children.
Right.
But whatever.
So it's a CCG for toddlers.
Yeah, for babies fresh out of the womb. It is free to play. It features Skylanders characters. There's a single player and an online multiplayer campaign. I don't know if campaign's the right way to put it. Component, I should say. You can buy digital cards in-game, just like Hearthstone. But, this is the coolest part for me, there's also physical cards in the real world you can buy and then scan in.
Oh, that's cool.
I think that's awesome. I wish Hearthstone did something like that. And
They'd be killing.
Yeah, it plays off that whole Toys to Life thing.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense. Well, like you said, it makes sense for Skylanders.
Yeah. You can do the artificial scarcity thing, make certain cards very rare to find and buy, and you can only get them in physical form. That's crazy. Or you can pay $100 to get that through digital.
Or buy it off of eBay.
Yeah, exactly.
from a dirtbag scalper.
Yeah. Are you gonna get into Battlecast, Dan?
I'll try it just because I really like the Skylanders universe and stuff. I'm really looking forward to the new Skylanders game coming out in September. So
yeah,
I'll give it a shot.
This is called Battlecast, you said?
Battlecast, coming to iOS and Android sometime next year.
Mm-hmm.
Runic Games announced their newest title called Hob. Runic Games did Torchlight. And Hob is an adventure game without text or dialogue. Did you guys watch the reveal for Hob? The reveal trailer?
I meant to.
I did.
Check it out. Art style looks really cool, but the trailer doesn't reveal much beyond that. But they describe the game. Runic Games describes the game as, quote, the more players delve into the world's design, the more they uncover a planet in peril. Players must learn to survive, understand their true purpose through acquiring skills, and ultimately transform the nature of the world itself. Narrative is revealed as players explore and interact with their mysterious planet and the strange life forms that inhabit it. It's apparently, they said, it's inspired by Eco in Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh, cool.
Oh, okay.
Surprised they didn't say Journey.
I like the concept.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, looks cool, and this is a good example of a good guy developer that you just want to support because they made something that you love. Right time, right place. With Torchlight came
Yeah.
out, or was it Torchlight 2 that came out around Diablo
Torchlight 2.
3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. I think it was like a month after or 2 months after or whatever.
Yep.
It was supposed to come out like right next to it, but I think they delayed it for some polishing before it finally came out.
Yeah. I
Good
mean,
decision.
I preferred that when and Diablo 3 was in its infancy.
Yeah.
Game had some problems.
Yeah.
We got to play, Will.
I'm ready to play. We gotta do Path of Exile, Diablo, Torchlight. You just gotta let me know.
Well, the Path of Exile expansion still hasn't come out, I don't think.
I thought it did.
I don't think so, but I think it's like end game content, so we wouldn't really need it anyway.
It is endgame content?
Yeah, I think it's like another chapter added on to the game.
Oh, we're not even through one chapter yet.
No. We did play a little bit though, didn't we?
Yeah. No, we didn't even start.
Who did I play with?
I played it by myself when it first came out.
Well, we needed, the Path of Exile episode.
I played with somebody for a little while. I thought it was you, Will.
Not that I only have one character.
Huh. Who the
Like
heck
level
was it? I don't know. In my last bit of info, there is more negative Konami reports coming out of Japan. I read Kotaku a lot, and they checked with their sources. Apparently, Konami has an official division called the Internal Audit Office. And they can investigate individual employees, what they're doing, their emails, have access to their emails and all that kind of stuff. I'm still kind of the mind that this doesn't sound as terrible as people make it seem, because to me it sounds more like not security, but like ensuring that the employees that work at Konami are discreet.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like it's more of like, I don't know how to phrase it. It doesn't seem like the work culture is making employees' lives hell. I think it's more in the name of
It's the industry,
secrecy.
I think. Yeah. I think that's kind of the norm in the industry.
Yeah, and I think it doesn't sound good. It sounds like Konami is a tough place to work at, but it's not. I still don't think it's like the slave labor that people are making it out to be. Because like my last job, my boss could look at my emails and stuff. It's not. You don't really have privacy at work when you're using work things and conducting work.
Yeah.
I don't know what that expectation is.
Especially when you could potentially leak secrets, which could damage the company, like,
Sure.
I don't know.
And I'm not standing up for Konami here because I do think, some things are not good that they're doing. Like one source apparently told Kotaku that the Internal Audit Office contacted a new employer of a former employee to tell them how bad that former employee really was, which is pretty skeezy.
Yeah, I mean, if they didn't contact them for a reference, they shouldn't call them later and be like, hey, this guy sucked.
Yeah, that's bad. That shouldn't happen.
But that might be just like an individual basis, that
That
might
could
not
be
be
too.
company policy. It's just some employee, the boss had a problem with one of his employees, so
Yep.
make his life miserable.
The sources reported that if you take a laptop home, you have to apply for it, use a VPN, and the laptop can take random screenshots of what you're doing on the computer, which, again, does not seem that crazy to me. I know high schools do that.
Company property, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Am I crazy?
No.
I was like, oh, this sounds terrible, but the more you say, like, you're kind of right.
Another thing they said was that employees have to, when they leave, have to tell the security guards what they're doing, where they're going, which is a little extreme in my opinion. And every time they leave, and that log of what they're doing is tracked and compiled, and employees are reprimanded if they're leaving too often, which to me just sounds like any other job. You shouldn't leave work too often during the day, right? I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I've worked at a few different places where smokers got 15-minute breaks like once an hour.
Yeah.
No, like you're right. You shouldn't be able to leave that often to go do anything.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah. But they did say that their sources in Japan of people that work in like similarly sized corporations and stuff said that it's extreme. And
Yeah.
I agree. I think they do take things a little too far, but some of the stuff like it does sound kind of crazy when you're just reading an article and it lists these things, but when you really think about it, like there are forms of that exist in corporations everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, basically they're ensuring you do a good job, and granted it might be a little bit extreme in how they do that, but really you should do a good job at your job.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
do a good job and you have no problem. Hopefully
Yeah.
that's the last we have to talk about that. But
Yeah. That's the big story in gaming now. So
I just want Metal Gear to come out.
yeah. I hear ya.
Yep.
That it, Corey?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Will. Little bits.
My first one is the Diablo 3 Monk is now playable in Heroes of the Storm. I'll be talking about that in a little bit because I bought some of the dynamic bundles and stuff like that and spent a lot of money on Heroes within the last day.
Nice.
But the big one, which I found interesting, was Techland says that if they were asked to take over development of Dead Island 2, that they would. They said, Dead Island is our child, the title that was imagined, we developed. We made this game, and we still have a very strong connection with that IP. So it's very bad news to hear what's going on with it. I hope that we will see some more Dead Island in the future, and I hope that Jaeger is not affected that much as it may seem right now. I thought that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Seeing Techland return to their old IP that they were... I don't know, were they like... Did they have a falling out with Deep Silver? Is that what happened?
Was it Deep? I feel like because that was what company was that folded that Deep Silver bought some of their games.
They had
What's up?
that tablet to draw. What the heck? You draw.
Oh. No, it was
That's what put them under though. Was that shitty tablet they put out?
Oh, well, they had Saints Row.
Yeah.
Oh, Volition.
No,
No. Why can't we think of it?
it was the publisher.
It starts with a T, doesn't it?
Toy.
Oh. Yeah. THQ.
THQ.
HQ.
Yeah.
THQ. That's where. What? I feel like that Dead Island was in that, and Deep Silver got it like after the first one came out. Maybe they did the second one.
I think they went under before the game came out.
That's what I think, too.
Could be that too, and Deep Silver picked it up, and
The game still came out.
yeah.
So then...
Someone look it up
I'm looking it up. Keep talking, Will.
because I need to know. Go ahead.
No, like, I was just curious. Techland wanted to do Dying Light and not Dead Island 2? Is that what?
I don't know,
See, now I can't remember specifically.
but I mean, Techland did a great job with Dying Light, so it's way better than. I mean, I liked parts of Dead Island, but specifically the first part. But
I'm a Dead Island fan, so I liked it. But
Yeah.
I think Dying Light is better in just about every way. And I haven't even, like, beaten it. I only had,
Right.
like, 6 hours in it.
yeah,
But... Got anything, Corey?
No. Not yet.
Yeah.
Dead Island. I don't know. I wouldn't mind. I mean, I guess really Dying Light is like it is Dead Island. You know,
So-
it's
Yeah.
not that different.
So Deep Silver was the developer
Okay.
of Dead Island.
Okay.
Wait.
So what did Techland have to do with it? Or was Deep Silver the publisher?
Yeah, Deep Silver would have
Sorry.
to be...
Deep Silver was the publisher. And they published it. Did THQ have nothing to do with Dead Island?
Maybe not.
I honestly
Maybe
don't
not.
remember THQ ever having a hand in Dead Island, but I could be wrong.
No, it didn't. It's just because Deep Silver.
Because they bought Saints Row and Metro series. I think they bought
Yeah.
after. I think that was a THQ one. I'm pretty sure Metro 2033 was THQ.
I think you're right with that, yeah.
THQ made a bet, blah, 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 blah. Nope. Coach Media purchased Volition.
Yeah.
And Coach Media is the owner of
Deep
Dead
Silver.
Island's publisher, Deep Silver.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Coach Media announced Deep Silver will continue with the development and marketing of the Saints Row and Metro franchises.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, because Crytek bought Homefront.
Yeah. There's a few other ones of note in there that that THQ abandoned.
Ubisoft bought South Park.
That's right.
Oh yeah, that is right.
Darksiders went. I don't know.
Relic, or was that the developer?
As of this, there have been rumors though that Platinum Games are interested in
Platinum?
purchasing the franchise. I don't know if that happened. This is an old article. I'm trying to find out. Anyway,
Yeah. We can move on.
yeah.
I'm a big fan of Platinum games. How was your week, Will?
My week was good, Dan. A lot of my friends are going back to college, going away, so I've been, been saying bye to all of them and stuff like that. I had a very late night last night. I was at a bonfire, and then at like 2:45, some people wanted to get food, so I got food and crawled into bed at like 4:15 to wake up to go to work at 5.
Ugh.
So
I remember
That
those
was-
days.
that was tough. I'm one of those people we've talked about on the podcast that I need like 6+ hours of sleep. So going in on like 45 minutes wasn't easy. Even though I was pretty productive today, I was pretty proud of myself.
Yeah. Sometimes you can just soldier through it,
I don't
Yeah.
know, Dan.
What?
I remember, like, back in the working on the golf course days,
Yeah.
you'd only have to go in on the weekends for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
You could soldier through that no problem, and then just go home and sleep. But like, what'd you work, Will? Like a 6 to 8 hour day?
6 to 2:30 was my shift, so 8.
Oh God, I
And-
couldn't do it.
One of my other friends was with me like that last night, so like he was there this morning with me, so we were both like, at one point my eyes burned.
Yeah.
So, and like I was trying, cause like I work in produce, so like I have to like make runners of things, so I have to stack boxes like in smart ways so I can take out more product at a time. And
Yeah.
I just struggled trying to figure out the best way to do everything.
You
Oh,
work
you-
in produce.
You can't think.
I was like, I
doesn't
think
work right.
it's like, I think this looks good. And like I drank an energy drink and I got like anxiety from it and I was
Yeah.
like sick.
Yep.
Terrible.
It's just awful all around. I was gonna say, you don't really like coffee, do you?
No, my friend had coffee and he said that works way better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't get into the taste. I might just suck it up and just do
You
it.
have to start off with sweet coffee. I started drinking that as a child,
Hmm.
which is why I'm so, I'm so used to coffee at this point. But
I just don't want to be one of those people that needs a coffee or like I get a headache or
Yeah,
don't
well,
feel good.
yeah,
That's what I'm worried
That's how I
about.
am. If I don't have my coffee within like an hour of waking up, I get a headache.
Because I see everybody like who works there, people who come in, everybody gets a coffee, and I'm like,
Yeah, it's an addiction, no doubt.
Will
Scary.
Idaho Jake says it's the roids, not lack of sleep.
you caught me. It's the steroids.
Steroids.
And I have this cough, this persistent cough that's been here for like 2 weeks, and like I don't sleep enough, and like I work 8 hours and I work out, so like my body's just run ragged.
Well, stop running it ragged, bro.
I have a day off tomorrow, so I'm gonna just sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could use one of those.
You want to play video games tomorrow night?
I could, yeah.
I
What time?
kinda gotta play Final Fantasy Type 0.
You don't have to.
That's true.
Nothing. There's no one holding a gun to your head forcing you to play Final Fantasy Type O.
I don't know. I like to be involved in the conversation on the podcast.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't know how much I'm going to play.
Have you started it yet?
No.
Yeah.
I wanted to have Valkyria Chronicles finished, but I'll get to
Okay.
it. But that all you got, Will?
Yeah, that's pretty much my week.
Okay. I'm also sleep deprived. I was up really late last night. I think I went to bed at about I got in bed at like 3:15 maybe, but I was watching I was binging on Game of Thrones. I had to finish up the season before I could go to sleep, and I didn't finish it until 3. But then you lay in bed and you think about what happened.
Give
You're
me a
mine.
hint. Give me a hint of what happened at the end of the second season without spoiling anything, just so I can remember.
Okay. It was the Battle of the Capitol
Oh, okay. Yeah.
with the former king's brother, attacking.
Mhm.
So there's
Gotcha.
that.
I gotcha.
I freaking love Game of Thrones so much. My game time has been severely gimped by my Game of Thrones watching. But if I keep watching at this pace, I should have it done within I don't know, 2 weeks maybe.
Oh boy, dude.
Hopefully. I was telling Will, there's 5 seasons. I've watched 2, 10 season episodes. So I have 3 seasons. An hour an episode, 10 episodes per season. So I have about 30 hours of Game of Thrones left. I could easily do that by next week.
Oh,
if need
yeah.
be.
Oh yeah. I like to put it on my laptop and just let it play while I'm playing games on my computer.
That's probably a good game to have, or have a good show to have on.
Yeah. As long as you've seen the episode.
Right, which I haven't. I have to focus on it. I can't be doing anything else. But as I said, it severely gimps my video game time. I've maybe played 3 or 4 hours of Valkyria Chronicles this week. I wanted to have it finished so I could just start fresh on Final Fantasy Type L, but I don't know that that's going to happen. But
How far off would you say you are in Valkyria Chronicles?
not too much longer. I'm on chapter 14, and there's 18 chapters, so I probably have 4 or 5 hours left of Valkyria Chronicles.
I would just spend an hour a night and just
Yeah, I could
get
probably do
through
that.
it.
But then I wouldn't be able to watch Game of Thrones.
That's true. I know that conundrum.
Which is so good. As of right now, the only character I still really legitimately hate is Joffrey Lannister or Joffrey. It's Joffrey Baratheon. He's not. He's the Joffrey Lannister. The King Joffrey is the only character I still legitimately hate.
Yeah.
Even the ones I hated after the first season, I didn't really like any of the Lannisters, but I kind of see their, except for Tyrion. Tyrion Lannister is an awesome character, but
It's weird, Dan.
Go ahead, Corey.
I'm with you on the whole Lannister thing, but later on, the future seasons, there's one Lannister that I kind of started to feel for.
Yeah,
But I'm not gonna spoil it. Other than Tyrion, obviously.
Right. He's an awesome. All the characters are really awesome. Because as you get to know them better, you kind of see where they're coming from with some of the decisions they make, and even though they seem like bastards at first, as you get to know them, you're like, hey, I can see why you would want to behave this way or that, except for Joffrey, who is just a prick, and he's the only character I legitimately still hate. But I Tywin Lannister doesn't seem like a bad guy at this point. Seems like a decent enough dude. I think the characters that intrigue me the most are Baelish and Varys.
Yeah.
Because I just have no idea what is going on in their heads, and I just want to figure them out. Because you don't know whose side they're on, who they're working for, if they're working for anybody. They're the most interesting characters right now for me.
Littlefinger,
yeah. And the eunuch.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
I'm jealous. I want to experience it for the first time again.
Yeah, it's quite something. And now I really want to play the Telltale games, Game of Thrones game.
How do you feel about Arya?
I like Arya.
Yeah.
I really like Arya.
She's my favorite.
Okay. Yeah, they added a whole host of characters in the second season. I'm not really having any trouble keeping anyone straight thus far. I know you said season 3. It kind of gets a little confusing.
Mm-hmm.
I get the names confused sometimes, but I'm good with faces.
Yeah.
So I can keep all the characters straight. So, but yeah.
That's impressive. I often refer back to the Wikipedia just to figure out okay, this person belongs to this house. They're fighting here, and this, and this.
Yeah. The only thing I did is I looked up geographically where everyone comes from.
That helps too.
Because I didn't know the layout of the country of Westeros, or Eros is the other continent. Wanted to learn all that stuff. So I also looked up, being a history person. I always like to look up at the historical analogs to Game of Thrones, and I thought it was pretty interesting too.
Are you going to read the books?
I definitely gonna read the books.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've always been more of a book over movie person. I'm firmly in the Lord of the Rings books camp over the movies. So I definitely want to read the books because there's that much more space to tell these stories. So definitely we'll do that at some point.
I listened to the first book, the audio book,
Yeah.
with Roy Dotrice as the narrator. It's really good.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
isn't it like 30 hours or something like that?
Pretty long, yeah.
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 I've got a few really long audiobooks in my collection, so
But he's a great voice. Dan, if you had to pick a character to sit on the Iron Throne at the end of Game of Thrones right now, who do you think it might be?
at the end of season 2,
Yeah.
uh
When all is said and done,
who would I want?
Tyrael.
who do you want? A. Who do you
Uh-huh.
think it's gonna be? B.
Oh, at the end of the season 5 or whatever?
At the end of when Game of Thrones is all done.
Yeah. I mean, as of right now, I think Rob Stark would be my choice. He seems pretty fair, and the woman he just married, I really like too. I don't see him being the one to do it at the end.
Uh-huh.
The Targaryen girl, she's up to some crazy shit right now. I don't know what the hell she's got going on. If I had to pick who I thought was gonna win, that's a hard question. I mean, it's probably going to be someone out of left field. I don't imagine Rob Stark will be it. I don't know. Tyrion Lannister is a pretty sharp dude.
Yeah.
I think he'd make a good king. Physical qualities aside, but he's got the mental capacity to do it.
Yeah.
More so than any of the other characters.
I just want to watch Game of Thrones. Let's shut this thing down.
It's fantastic. I love the show. It's so good. I'm so glad I finally was able to watch it. So, but that's all I have to talk about. That's all I did other than play a little bit of video games. Maybe I'll be done with season 3 by next week. Well, I'll definitely be done with season 3. Maybe I'll be halfway through season 4. You know who I really didn't like through season 2 is Theon Greyjoy.
Yeah.
Man, really went south in my book.
Yeah.
But
I like him.
yeah, I could see that. He kind of got caught up in in what happened.
It's hard to talk about this stuff, Dan, because
Yeah, I
anything
know.
I say could spoil stuff for you.
I'm trying not to spoil it for other people too.
I
If you haven't watched it, definitely watch it. It's so good.
Oh, it's unbelievable. There's a reason why it's the most popular show on television.
Yeah, it makes total sense. It's so good. But yeah, I don't want to talk about it anymore because it's making me want to just shut this thing down right now and go watch. So, what do you got, Corey? What did you do this week?
I got a couple things out of the ordinary. I contracted a awful rash. I think it's poison ivy. Poison something, maybe poison sumac, poison oak. I'm not sure. But my job as a groundskeeper, I get into some funky stuff from time to time. And I was pulling weeds last Wednesday or Thursday, and Friday I noticed the little bump blisters. And I've gotten them a couple times this year already on my hands from pulling stuff. But this time, for some reason, it took off all over my body.
Oh no.
The safe parts are the parts I want to be safe. Like my midsection.
Yeah.
Pretty much between my waist and my knees is safe. And the rest of me wasn't safe.
Ugh.
Did you get it on your face?
I did, yeah. It it was on my hands, and then I noticed it on my ears.
Oh no.
And it got real bad on my ears. I wanted to cut my ears off. That's how bad it was. It was so itchy. My ears were screaming for 4 days. And what happened was, and I did a lot of research on this, it started getting bad on Friday night, Saturday morning, and I was like, all right, whatever. And apparently the bumps and rash can show up to 72 hours later. But even after 72 hours, I was still getting new growths on myself.
Oh.
So I was like, that's not good. And apparently what happens is the oil from the plant, if you don't clean it up, and you get it on things, you can just keep reinfecting yourself. And I think, because I kept getting reinfected on my arms and stuff, I think it was on my computer desk. So I wiped down my computer desk really good, and it's finally starting to back off a little bit. But poison ivy's no fun when it's real bad.
Yeah.
Because I've had it before, and it was pretty much just like a red rash that wasn't too bad, even though it was everywhere. But this time it was like a red rash, and like it blistered.
Ugh.
Oh my
It
god.
was gross. And to make matters worse, this week has been like almost 90 and sunny
Yeah.
at work, and like my skin is just screaming, and I'm like sweating all over myself, and I just want to rip my skin off, and like I don't know, it's so uncomfortable. But today's the first day I feel like improved, because it went up the right side of my face, like on my cheek, and then on my nose I got it real bad, and up the side of my nose, like right in the corner of my eye.
Oh my god.
Yeah, fortunately it didn't bother my eyes at all, and it didn't itch too bad on my face. Just my ears and my neck were the worst. And I tried hydrocortisone; it just made it worse. So today I got some calamine to dry it out, and hopefully that does it for good. But like I said, I'm on the mend today. Is the first day I'm better than I am worse. So.
That's good.
And then to make matters worse, on top of that, I got my first flat tire on my bike.
Oh no.
Which, if you're, I think about like Steve Carell in 40-Year-Old Virgin
Yeah.
when I'm riding my bike around. And I was leaving work on Friday, and something didn't feel right, and I looked back, and I saw I had a flat tire on my back tire. And when your mountain bike is your primary mode of transportation, it's kind of demasculating a little bit. It's just like, oh man, my bike's got a flat tire. So I had to figure out how to fix that, because I'm kind of in the do-it-yourself mode
Yeah.
now that I'm poor.
Should have texted me.
Well, normally I'd just be like, screw it, I don't care to spend the time to fix it. I'm just gonna take it to a bike shop and get it fixed. And I did call a place, and he's like, it'll be $5 for labor and then whatever parts are. And I did the math, and it would have been like $20 or something like that to fix the flat. And I was like, no, I'll do it myself. I'll learn something along the way and save a little bit of money. But it turns out it was a lot more difficult than I thought, and I didn't have the tire levers, so I had a hell of a time getting the tire off the rim.
Yeah.
I watched so many videos that showed you how to do it by hand, but I just could not do it for the life of me, so I ended up using screwdrivers to get it off.
Did you puncture it even more?
Well, I planned, because I couldn't find a hole or anything in the tire, and once I got the tube out, I didn't notice any problem with the tube, even though I did end up ripping a big hole in the tube when I used the screwdrivers to get it out.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find any other hole other than that. So it kind of made me think it was the stem, the valve stem, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So I needed to replace it anyway. So I didn't feel too bad that I ripped a new hole in it when I was taking it off. But I went to Walmart and got well, they didn't have the tube I needed, so I had to go to a bike shop to get the tube I needed, and I bought the tire levers too to get it back on, because I didn't want to puncture it once I got it back on. But that whole process was just a pain, and like I felt like doing nothing the last 4 or 5 days, because I've had this awful rash that, like, I've been so irritable, and I apologize to my girlfriend just because I didn't want to be talked to, really.
Yeah.
Between the heat at work and like this poison ivy rash, and then the flat bike tire, and it's just been
You
terrible.
just want to smash something.
I just want things to go back to normal.
Yeah. I hear you.
But I ended up doing it, and I think everything works fine. So
I'll tell you what I do, Corey. It's called green slime, which I think you can get at Walmart.
Yeah.
And it comes with a little tool on it that you use to take out the inside part of the valve stem, and you fill it with this like it's green slime.
yeah,
Which is like a liquidy, plasticky stuff.
Yeah.
And you put the cap, you put the valve stem back in, pump up the tire, and it stays liquid inside the tire, and it'll go into any
holes or anything.
holes or anything on you. Because I use it on my lawn tractor.
Yeah, I did actually, because I saw they had what do they call them? There's a word for them. I can't think of the name of it. Self-filling, whatever.
Self-sealing,
yeah, tires. And I read online, like there's pros and cons of using those.
Yeah.
And the standard one was cheaper, so I was just like, I'll just get the standard one. But I don't know. It's good to learn a skill like that,
Yeah.
and I feel more confident now.
I'm all about fixing things myself.
The worst part about it though was I don't have a bike pump, so
Oh.
I had to like go to the gas station and pay $1 every time I wanted to
Oh, geez.
fill air in the tires. And what sucked about it is I had the tube, and you have to put a little bit of air in the tube before you can put it back on the rim.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to use the gas or the air pump twice. So I used $2 worth of air. Air should be free. It's ridiculous.
A tire pump too, like a bicycle tire pump from like Walmart would be like $10.
I should just buy one.
Amazon. Look on Amazon. They'll have them for nothing.
Yeah, I should do
$5.
that. But yeah, that was pretty much my week.
Yeah, I go to great lengths to fix things on my own.
It's nice if you have like the worst part about it is I don't even have any tools or anything
Yeah,
like
no
that.
tool, yeah.
So
Yeah. See, once I got the house, that's when I started accumulating tools. So I have things I can use to fix.
I think I'm just gonna start asking for tools for birthdays and Christmas and stuff.
Yeah, you can get for not too expensive a basic toolkit with just the usual hammer, screwdrivers, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So you can start ficking things.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Corey?
I don't think so. I don't think I watched anything interesting that I could talk about. I've
Gotcha.
got. I'm gonna start watching Star Trek.
Are you?
Yeah.
Which series?
Well, it's something I've been wanting to do, and I tried to just watch all the Next Generation, but it's a little bit too much. But I heard one of the video game podcasts I listened to, they were talking about a guide by Max Temkin on, it's called like Star Trek The Next Generation in 40 hours, and it just picks like, I think it's like 42 episodes or something like that, the most important Star Trek episodes to watch. So I'm going to do that.
Nice. Okay. Should we get into what we played?
I got to use the gentleman's room.
You got Tinkle?
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll take a quick break and be back with what we played, feedback, and answers to the question of the week in just a minute.
Oh, all right. Starting to hit a wall.
Yeah, me too. Well, my coffee's worn off now, so.
So you're starting to really feel it.
Oh, man. Because I had my coffee at like 7. I should have waited till like right before we started. I mean, I really don't have anything to talk about.
I don't really feel like talking about Heroes. So I'll probably just talk about the dynamic bundles.
Yeah. Which is a good idea.
Oh, it's brilliant. Wait till you hear some of the stuff I got. For cheap.
Nice. I keep checking gaming news to hoping to find a No Man's Sky release date.
Mm-hmm. Are they going to announce one soon?
What's that?
Are they going to announce that soon?
I don't know. I hope so. Netflix is coming to Japan on September 2nd.
Really?
I can't believe it's not in Japan already.
What's this now?
Netflix is coming to Japan
Oh yeah, I just saw the
for 2nd.
Kotaku article.
It's cray. That's not there yet. All right, shall we?
Yeah, I'm ready. We need Eric.
Why?
He draws the crowd.
Oh. Yeah. I'm a little more tired. I usually like to, and the night before a podcast, I like to go to bed a little bit earlier. But for obvious reasons, that didn't happen last night.
I hear you.
I'm not, my brain's just like diarrhea in toilet, you know?
Are you going to play the Game of Thrones Telltale game now, Dean?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait for a sale for it. I've heard you shouldn't play it until after you've seen at least season 3.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, I would actually wait till you finish the series.
I will,
up to this
because
point anyway.
I'm not even gonna buy it until it's like sale.
Until it's $2.50.
No, even like a 25% off, because it's $30.
Wow.
The other ones are only 25. I almost bought the Borderlands one the other day because it was like $12.50. I think it was 50% off. But I'll definitely want to play that. So, all right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. Episode 213 of the Thumbstick Athletes podcast. We are now in what we played. Now I'm going to go first because I don't have a whole lot to talk about. As I said, I played a little more of Valkyria Chronicles. I think I did 3 or 4 chapters. I still really, really like that game. It's really good. It's on Steam. Just buy it. Yeah. It's been on sale a few times too. I bought it when it first came out. Like, I think it was even like last year at this time. So I've had it for about a year before I even got a chance to play it. But it's on sale. A lot of times you can find it for $10. It's absolutely worth that. I think it would be worth it new, like 60. Because you bought it, right, Corey? I mean,
I can't remember. I think so. I think I paid. I don't know if I paid full price. Maybe I did.
Right. Did you end up beating it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's a really, really, really good game. So, I don't really have a lot to talk about with it because a lot of it's like spoilery stuff, but it's so good. The only other thing I played was Fallout Shelter, which I played after we finished last week's episode. I played for another like 2 days and then I deleted it. I'd had my fun with that. I think I got my vault up to like almost 60 people. It got to the point where there was a little too much having to log in frequently and, not just
manage.
I mean, yeah, like I kept sending out people to explore the wasteland, and I come back and they were dead, and I have to pay like 700 bottle caps to revive them, and I was just like, okay, I've had my fun with this. It was decent, and then I deleted it and haven't even thought about it since. So
you played it longer than I did.
Yeah, it was probably 4 or 5 days total that I played it, maybe a week tops. But yeah, it was decent. Give it a shot if you're at all curious. It's a standard mobile game with a Fallout skin. Is the best way I can describe it.
Mm-hmm.
So
sounds about right to me.
Yeah. Corey, what do you got?
I played and beat, based on our standards, Rocket League.
Hey, well done.
I did a short 9-game season. Is that the shortest you can do?
I think so, yeah.
On All-Star difficulty.
Oh.
And I sort of realized something, that I was getting crushed in some games, doing really well in other ones, and I sort of learned that the best way to play with AI partners is to play defense and let them handle the offense.
Totally agree.
Yeah, every time I played offense, we'd get crushed by like 5 goals. But whenever I played defense, we'd win by like 5 goals. So there's a pro tip for you. But I also spent a little bit of time playing online, and it's starting to get... People are getting a little more feisty.
Uh-huh. That's why I stopped playing online, too.
Kind of the competitive toxicity.
Yeah, I just don't... I have no time for that. Like, I'm not going to play it enough to be good enough for your standards. Like,
yeah.
It's not, dude.
Yeah, like somebody on my team... I can't even remember what I did or something, but he like typed, "Are you stupid, Sparky?" Because my gamer tag or whatever is plain Sparky.
Yeah.
And I was like, whatever, man. I just didn't even say anything.
Yeah.
And then another guy like called me I did the demolition on him, and then he called me a griefing asshole. And then his buddy was like, "Spark plugs, butt plugs," or something stupid like that. I'm like, what, really, guys?
This is why I don't play games online.
And
you know what?
League?
You know what games
Yeah.
I do play online? You know what games I do play online is where games you have no interaction. Splatoon,
Yeah.
Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to hear it from anybody.
Yeah. But I also started thinking, like, I always try and compare it to like real competitive sports, and I sort of realized like real sports aren't immune to that either. Like people
No,
are
not
always
at all.
talking smack out on the field,
Yeah.
and it just kind of makes me wonder, like, why does this bother me and that stuff, like when we're out on the field, didn't bother me?
You know why? Because there's nothing you can do about it in an online game. Like at least in a sport, like you could pop like if you're playing football, you could pop the person real good if they, if they sassed you real good or whatever.
Yeah.
Or in basketball, you could stuff them, or in hockey, you could
Just straight up
lay
hit
them
'em.
out, with a good check,
Yeah.
and get a little bit of revenge. But like in a video game, there's not that physical revenge, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That would be thought.
You can't make it hurt
No.
unless you beat them really bad.
Well, yeah, but even then, like it's just a loss in one of the 1,000 multiplayer games that person's played. Like
Yeah.
it's doesn't sting that much as a loss in a football game.
Just wait till we have Oculus
'cause
Rift.
Well, because you play a new one every 3 minutes, so they're a lot less meaningful than a full 60-minute football game or 60-minute hockey game or whatever.
Yeah,
So somebody on the other team got mad at you for demolitioning him.
just once. And it's funny because the game before, I was losing a lot and I was getting frustrated. So I started a game and I was griefing. I was constantly demolishing this one guy over and over and over again. And we actually ended up winning that game, so it made me feel good. But that guy said nothing. And then the next game, I was going to do it again to another guy, and I did it once. And he was playing goalie, and our team was on offense, and I just beeline straight to the goalie and demolished him.
Yeah, punched them out.
Yeah. And then he called me a griefing a-hole. I'm just like, really? Like,
Spark plug, more like butt plug.
first of all, that's part of the game, too. I mean, you can't...
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a mechanic.
Yeah.
Did you get that guy's username?
No, I can't even remember it.
Yeah, I have no patience for that stuff, and it doesn't even like really bother me. It's just like I said, I'm not gonna play the game enough to live up to your standards. I'm not even gonna bother.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, why does it bother me so much? Like, I don't know. And it never bothered me in real sports. Like you said, Dan, there was always a way to, I don't know.
To enact your revenge, yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's just the idea of like the person on the other side of the internet is only that way because they have the protection of
Anonymous. Yeah, being anonymous. Yeah,
I don't know.
certainly.
Maybe that's why it bothers me.
Yeah,
Whatever. Rocket League's a lot of fun though.
it is fun. It's a lot of fun, and it controls like a dream.
Oh my god.
Controls so well.
And it's hard to stop.
Yeah, see, I would play if we could all get on a team, or I have 3 of us anyway. Once you can, I guess you can do private matches with Steam and PS4 crossplay, but you can't do like matchmaking.
Huh.
I know they're still working on that.
Yeah. Dark Souls. I booted up. I mentioned that I played a lot of Bloodborne. And after I beat it, I wanted to play Bloodborne again, but Will needed his PS4 back, which is totally fair. So I went to the next best thing and rebooted up Dark Souls. But you got to do a little bit of finagling to get it to work well. They did remove the Games for Windows Live requirement, which is a real nice thing to get rid of. But you have to... I've never done this before. You have to opt into the beta version
Yeah, on Steam.
that has that requirement removed.
Yep.
So I did that, and then I installed some mods, like a texture mod to the game to make it work better, and a couple other things.
You can make
couple fixes.
graphics way better.
Yeah, and it does look really well. And it's kind of funny, though, because the first time I played that game, I didn't know what to expect. And it took me about an hour playing it again this time to get to the point that it took me 10 hours to get to, like, my first time playing it.
Yeah.
It's incredible how much faster I'm moving, just because I'm familiar with the game and, like, the Souls system and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm still really enjoying it. It's such a fun game.
I was because I have it installed on my computer for whatever reason, even though I just did a format on my hard drive.
Yeah.
I installed Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2.
Mm-hmm.
And and I really wanted to play it, but like I said, my game time's limited, and I still want to beat Valkyria Chronicles. I have to play Final Fantasy Type O. I'm like, I don't need to throw Dark Souls back into this, you know?
Right. Like
Dang.
I was playing Final Fantasy Type 0 last night, and I was like, I just want to be playing Dark Souls right now.
Mhm.
But what I didn't realize is how much the controls are persistent across all the games.
Yeah,
Like going from Bloodborne to Dark Souls was seamless control-wise.
which is good.
Yeah. There's a few minor things here and there,
Yeah,
but I still think Dark Souls is the better game overall. But it did age a bit. There's some things that are a little outdated. But just the idea, like in Bloodborne, there's no... All armor is valid. You know, there's no progression of like, a new suit of armor. Like, this is way better than what I had before. In Bloodborne, you could wear any piece of armor, and it has its ups and downs throughout the entire game. Whereas in Dark Souls, like, you can find better stuff all the time. Which I kind of like a little bit more.
right.
A couple other things in Dark Souls that I think make it a better game, like the glitch stuff, like killing the dragon by shooting it in the tail a bunch, or the drake.
How many shots do you have to do? Because I tried that and it took forever, and I just gave up.
I think it's 30.
30?
It depends. Yeah, it depends on what bow you have, what arrows you're using, what your dexterity is.
Yeah, I don't think any of that was high enough for me.
I'm also using guides this time playing through because I don't want to get stuck again like I did the first time I played through it.
Right.
So I'm doing like a warrior build, warrior dexterity build, and so I'm really effective with bows. The game's so much fun. There's more NPCs too than there is in Bloodborne, and you don't know what their deal is. Which I like.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a lot of fun. I also played Hearthstone Tavern Brawl. This week's gives you a little preview of some of the cards that are going to be in the expansion. The only one I can think of off the top of my head is, it's kind of weird. It's a 6 mana creature, and its battle cry is when you play it, you reveal 2 random minions from each person's deck. And if your minion that is revealed is higher cost than your opponent's minion, then that minion that you played gets Divine Shield and Taunt, which is really weird. There are a couple other new ones, but I can't really remember. This expansion is going to really change the game.
Good.
There are cards that do some really, really weird stuff.
Nice.
Like one of them makes your hero power more powerful. Like it changes, if you're a mage, your fireball does, or fire blast or whatever it is, the hero power does 2 damage instead of 1. The hunter does 3 damage instead of 2. For warlock, it removes the health cost to draw a card. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on, and the whole Inspire thing is really going to change the game. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen, because you know what's going to happen is, because of all these cards, somebody's going to come up with something that's super overpowered that nobody's going to be able to beat, and then they're going to have to balance
Adjust
some stuff
that.
out. Yeah. I think it's inevitable, but I can't wait. Really can't wait. It's like 100 some cards, I think.
Wow.
Over 100.
How many cards are in the game right now?
I really don't know. It's a good question.
I have the foggiest. It's been a while since I played it.
Yeah. And the only other thing I played was Final Fantasy Type 0 HD. I played about an hour of it after it took half an hour to install.
Yeah.
25 gigabits.
Which was surprising to me how big it was, because it's a PSP port.
Yeah. I don't know. What's all that space?
I don't know. But anyway.
It's just mining bitcoins.
Maybe. Maybe. That would be funny.
Yeah. It's different. I don't know if I like it yet. I don't know if I dislike it yet, but the combat is all action.
Uh-huh.
And I can see why they took the director of this game and put him on Final Fantasy 15.
15, yeah, that's supposed to be more action-y type combat too.
Yeah, it's all action, and there's also like timing of hits. And you kind of like, you don't just want to spam attacks, you kind of want to learn your enemies' patterns and they make themselves vulnerable at certain times. And if you can time it just right, you do a lot more damage. But I'm into the story a little bit, and it does kind of remind me of Valkyria Chronicles. The story, you're like in an
I could see
oppressed
that.
empire.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I haven't really played that much. It's other than the combat, it does just kind of seem like a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
But I know there's like a mission system to it, and I don't know. Like I said, I've only played an hour.
Right.
But I don't know. We'll see. I'll give it some more time, and we're gonna do a whole episode on it next week. I hope Eric gets to play it too, because I'd be curious to hear his opinion.
Yeah.
For somebody who's not huge into Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I don't think you're gonna like it, Corey.
I don't know.
I think you'll like it.
I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna like it.
I don't think you are either. But I'll say that for anything nowadays, you know.
But I haven't liked a Final Fantasy since 9.
9, yeah. A lot of people like 12. I have 12 on Steam now. I'll get to it someday. But
Oh, you have it on Steam?
it's either 12 or 13.
I think you have 13.
Oh.
I didn't like 13. I don't think
Oh.
12 is on Steam. If it is, I'm going to play your Steam copy of it.
Okay.
Oh, I liked Final Fantasy Dimensions, but that doesn't really count.
Right.
That's a mobile game.
What about All the Bravest?
All the Bravest was awesome.
Sweet game.
Dragging the fingers over the screen. Yeah. No, I actually didn't mind All the Bravest, and I also spent no money on it, so...
You beat it, right?
Yeah,
That's a feat right there.
it was fun. I didn't mind it.
It is Final Fantasy 13. Oh, that's right. There was a rumor that they were going to remaster or remake Final Fantasy 12. Remaster.
Yeah. I'd play that in a heartbeat.
I want to see Final Fantasy 10 come to Steam, which I'm sure it will because they've done the remaster for that one. 'Cause I missed a lot of those Final Fantasies. So.
How good's Final Fantasy 8?
It's not bad. It was my least favorite of the PlayStation era.
Okay, because I have it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because I need to, like, there's a lot of them I haven't played through, and I kind of want to play through them. I
Yeah.
played through most of the early ones. So,
Well, if you want to do a Let's Play, I'll spectate.
okay. Of 8?
Yeah.
Is 8 and 9 on there?
9's on Steam, right?
Okay, like, basically all of them are on besides 12.
Yeah. There's 12, 12.2, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
13.2 just came out on Steam.
6 isn't on Steam, is it?
No. I keep waiting for that one to come out on Steam. I hope they do the original, though, and not the...
Yeah. I think 4, 5, and 6 aren't on Steam, but the rest of them are.
No, I think they are.
Really?
Yeah.
4, 5, and 6 are on Steam?
Not 6, 4, and 5.
Oh.
I think 1 through 5 are all on Steam.
I know. I think 4 and 5 are on iOS.
Yeah, they are. And
Six
so is 6. So is 7 now.
You're right.
I'm
Apparently.
looking at it now.
You can pretty much play them wherever.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Corey?
Nope.
All right. Will, what do you got?
The only thing I want to do is a little Heroes talk. I won't do a lot. The Monk came out. He's a support. He's awesome. I like being able to spec him however I want to play him. He's a great healer. And also he has some good damage, but I'm tired of seeing the Monk's overpowered stuff. Whenever a new hero gets introduced, everybody just complains about him being overpowered because nobody knows how to deal with characters like when they're new. Happened with the Butcher, happened with Sylvanas, happened with the Monk. So I get tired of hearing that. But the coolest thing that they added, they didn't add the new map in this patch, by the way.
Okay.
They need to rework it, apparently. There's some issues with it. I guess the team that won the first battle ended up, like, winning the game, like, 80% of the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the objective. And, like, because I explained the objective last week. What you do is you got to kill 30 of the demons that pop from the altar. So, like, if your team got 29 and the other got 30, there's no, like, hey, you almost got it. The thing will be a little bit weaker. It was just normal strength and whatnot. So they didn't do that. They're reworking it.
Gotcha.
But the coolest thing I think they did is adding dynamic bundles, which, Corey, I think you talked about last week, right?
Adding what?
Dynamic bundles to Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah.
Now, there was a bundle. You know the starter bundle, Corey, that you got?
Yeah, did I get that?
Yeah, Chris bought it for you.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Now, they add a stim pack to it now for a little bonus. So I spent $3 and got Mirrodin and Malfurion, which are two characters I didn't have before. And I also got a stim pack with it. Because I owned Raynor, the price went down, which is pretty cool. And they added new bundles, and I got the Conquest bundle, which had 3 characters I really wanted to get. 2 of them being Arthas and Zagara, who I want to start playing as. And there was like 6 characters in it, but I got it for $11. So
Nice.
Zagara and Arthas, who are 2 characters that I want, are both $8 on their own.
Wow.
So I think that's brilliant that they
Yeah,
do that.
definitely. You're more likely to buy characters now, huh?
Yeah, I spent like $20, $23 on the patch.
Jeez. How much have you spent on that game? Total.
Man. Let's see, I've been buying all the new characters for the I think maybe 6 characters, so that's 10 each. So that's 60 right there. I would say a little over 100, probably.
Gosh.
I like the game, okay?
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
But that's it. Like, I don't...
Okay.
Eric's not here to
Chat.
chat about it.
Okay. Final Fantasies 3, 4, 7, 8, 13, 13, 2. So I don't believe 9 is on Steam.
I mean, Endgame is basically all of them are going to be on Steam, right?
I'm sure. Because why not,
Yeah.
Although it just might not be coming up in search. Okay. Feedback?
Yeah.
Corey, you want to read the feedback?
Yeah, we got a couple actually.
Oh, good.
This one is from Idaho Jake. Hey guys, I guess this is feedback and question of the week because this is the most recent games I have binged on. First, I will start with Ark. This game, at first, I wasn't sure if I liked it. Then 2 weekends ago, I played almost all of Saturday and Sunday, and now I know I like it. You start out picking if you want to play MMO still or just solo, and I like just playing. I like just playing solo, but if I have friends playing it, I would do a co-op type play. The character creation is pretty crazy, and you can make some funky-ass people. The first thing you notice is the graphics and how good the game looks. Next, the gameplay works great, but if you don't have a very good internet, it might freeze up on you for only about half a second. Trust me, it doesn't bother you that much. Next, the sounds of the game, like the wind, the splash of the water as a giant shark jumps out of the water, the cool dinosaur sounds, and of course, your pooping nose when you defecate. Yes, you and the dinos poop, and you can pick it up and build stuff with it, like buffalo chips.
Nice.
That's my own narration there. Now, when you start the game, you are naked and have nothing, so you have to collect rocks that you can find on the ground, berries and other resources you collect from bushes, and you also punch trees to collect wood and thrush. You also have to watch your meters that are on the right-hand side of the screen. You have food, water, weight, health, and stamina. So as you collect stuff and kill dodo birds with your bare hands, you level up. And every time you level up, you get a point to go towards your stats and points for schematics for building pickaxes, weapons, and house building. A couple of tips. Try not to die because all your resources are gone and you have to start again, or you can find your body that will decay in 9 minutes. That seems rude or difficult.
Yeah.
Next tip, run away. Some dinos are friendly and won't hurt you, but you really need to be on the lookout for the dangerous ones. Now, there is fast travel, but you need to have learned how to make a sleeping bag, and that is fast travel. This is a very important thing because I screwed up and lost a lot of shit because I thought, oh, I'll just go a bit more than fast travel, and boom, died in a very bad spot. I've been playing with my 360 controller. I like that there's controller support. But some things you still need the keyboard and mouse for, like menus. I hope you guys are going to get it for console when it comes out June 2016, because I know I will. Next game I've been playing is Destiny. Again, I started back into it on Friday. Played all weekend, and I've played about 2 or more hours a night, and I'm with Eric. It holds a special place, and I think it's because it is a game you can not play for a while and just jump right back into without needing to learn the controls again or start over. I am excited for the DLC, and I will be getting it. Well, I think that is a long enough feedback. Later. Dan, you mentioned Ark earlier.
I was so close to buying Ark last night or 2 nights ago. I am going to get it at some point for PC. I also want to set up a server, so if anyone's interested in also buying it, and I'll hopefully have a private server. The only problem, because I was reading up on the running of a server, and apparently it uses a lot of memory, so it's advised that you don't run the game and the server on the same computer, which would cause an issue for me. So I'm looking into that, but I do want to get it at some point. I was going to buy it and just do the single player for now, while like Jake, while I learn how to play the game, and then after a little while, after I get my bearings a little bit, then start up the server. But I'm definitely going to get that game at some point. One of the people I follow on Twitch plays it all the time, and it looks really fun. So,
is this one going to come out officially?
I think so. It's been one of the most popular games on Twitch and Steam for quite a while now.
What separates it though? Because there's a million of this type of game.
There is. People are playing it. That's one thing. Dinosaurs. That's another thing. People love them some dinosaurs. I don't know. It seems like it's going to come out like the because you can do a quick forum search on Steam and tell, and obviously there's always a handful of people that are like, oh, updates aren't frequent enough, but for the most part there's not a lot of complaining about infrequent updates. Like, they update it pretty regularly. They're always adding new stuff to it, so it does seem like it's going to come out. I guess it runs pretty well right now. It seems like a complete game right now. So
I'm sure people thought this about Rust, Dan.
Yeah,
I bought Rust.
Yeah, but did it seem like a complete game when it came out? I mean, right?
Nope.
I think people feel like Ark is complete already so far.
My interest is piqued with it.
Yeah.
Is it cross-platform?
It's only on Steam right now. I don't know if it's going to be cross-platform when it comes out for consoles. No idea. But I definitely want it.
And I definitely want to play Destiny.
Yeah. I would be shocked if you like Destiny, Corey.
Really?
Yeah.
I should have brought that too when I let you borrow my PlayStation.
You can let me borrow it again.
Since I don't need it for Pretty Little Liars anymore, maybe.
PLL. And then I can play Demon Souls.
Yeah. Wait.
That's on PS3.
Oh, yeah. There's no way to play it on PS4?
No. There's no backwards compatibility on PS4.
Worthless system.
Nor will it be, I guess. Unless it comes out on PS Now.
I want to play Spyro, the first one.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for that stuff to go up on PS Now, but no.
Oh, maybe that would go good on Steam.
I'm tempted to buy a PlayStation 3 for all the old PlayStation 1 games that I can't play on Steam, and for the PlayStation 3 games that I didn't get a chance to play.
Yeah, I missed out on a lot of PS2 and PS3 stuff.
Exactly.
So, okay. Thanks, Jake.
Indeed, and I like that you can play Ark with a 360 controller. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I've gotten used to the keyboard and mouse controls at this point for a first-person game. I can't play shooters otherwise, for the most part.
So Miguel, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say Miguel from Spain wrote in his A's in gaming.
Oh, nice.
Alex Kidd. What's Alex Kidd?
I feel like
it was a game.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure it was a game.
Oh.
What's Asterix?
A game?
Two off the bat, I don't know. Ace Combat Anniversary Edition, Acclaim. That would have been a good one to do. Asteroids.
Yeah, some great games back in the day. Acclaim had great games back in the day.
Indeed. Asteroids. Android. Altair.
Android. Yeah.
From
Altair.
Assassin's Creed.
Yep.
Active Time Battle. That would have been a good one to do, too.
ATB, yeah.
All-Star Super Mario. Alucard. What's that? You guys know? Alucard.
Alucard.
Castlevania.
Oh.
Character in Castlevania. That's interesting. Yeah, so write in your favorite gaming A's if you want.
Yeah, Alex the Kid was a Sega Genesis game character. It looks like a cross between like a hobbit and a monkey. Is what he looks like.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Tito from LA writes in, "Hey guys, I'm listening and watching the stream. However, Twitch's awful chat system can't log me into chat. I googled it and apparently there can be a global lockout lasting for 2 hours. I don't understand that at all and seems pretty stupid just because I logged into chat." I agree.
Yeah. There's been some jank with that. I guess I've heard they're upgrading from Java to HTML5.
I thought
I've
that
heard that.
happened already.
Yeah, I want to say it's still causing some jank on the Twitch side of things.
Huh.
But yeah, I've had problems with that for a while now too. Like I said, whenever me and my wife play Super Mario Brothers on the stream, I always have my tablet up, and I don't know if anyone's writing to me because a lot of times like the chat doesn't show up.
Yeah, I
at
can't
all.
get it. I can't get the chat to work on my tablet either.
Yeah,
I don't know what the
but,
deal
but
is.
sometimes it does work. I don't know what makes the difference.
Yeah.
So it does. It's janky.
That's why we got to switch over to YouTube.
YouTube gaming.
A few days after buying my 3DS XL, my coworker found that Kmart had the new 3DS for sale 50% off.
What?
50% off. $100 new.
Wow.
Bummer.
I would have bought one and just sold the one I had.
Oh, but it was sold out, obviously. Lucky
of
enough.
course.
Okay, so that doesn't make you feel as bad.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's a once in a lifetime deal right there.
Yeah. Staples rarely sells game consoles, and apparently the workers haven't been properly trained when dealing with price matches. Couple that with Kmart's mobile site still listing the price of the item and keeping the add to cart button active, making it look like the item is still available. Several people posted on Reddit they were still able to get the item at Staples by showing the mobile page, not the desktop page. Ah,
I like that.
tricky.
Game in the system.
So I strolled in 4 days after the deal was closed. School night was packed in the Staples, and I asked if they sold Nintendo items in the store. Cashier said no. I asked if I could order it online here. They said yes. I showed them the item listing of Kmart on my iPhone and asked if they could price match. She sent me to the manager, who was already getting it ready on the extra computer, so I didn't hold up the line. I asked if it was okay to price match. She barely looked on the phone, saw the price, and said, yeah, that's fine. How many? I bought 2.
What?
I was quite happy in the pit of my stomach. A couple more people at work did the same thing and were successful as well. A total of 5 new Nintendo 3DS XLs were bought by people I work with. So far, so good. We'll see if Staples honors the deal while they get it ready for shipping. I'll be selling my Smash Bros. Special Edition on eBay again if I do get the new 3DS XLs for 50% off. Awesome. That is awesome.
That is awesome.
That's amazing.
I love that stuff, that retail trickery.
Well, that was like the people with, was it the PS4 that they were putting them up for sale on Amazon at like $90 and then having shipping be like 310, and then they were taking it to Walmart and getting PS4s for like $90 because they were price matching Amazon.
Wow.
You know, the price of the system was only $90, but you had to pay $310 in shipping. So, yeah.
It seems like you couldn't use eBay retail or Amazon retailers.
Yeah, that's what they were doing.
I didn't think they price matched with online.
Well, no, yeah.
This is also Walmart.
It was well, yeah, it's Walmart, but I think they do price match with Amazon. But yeah, people, because you can list, I could sell something on Amazon if I wanted.
Yeah.
So that's what they were doing. They weren't actually going to sell them, but they put them on there. It's good stuff.
That is a good deal. 50% off.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. Sorry if I seem distracted. I'm applying calamine.
Oh,
Calamine lotion.
it's like that.
Go ahead.
The episode of South Park where Cartman bathes in the calamide lotion. Because I think he has poison ivy in there, or chicken pox. It's chicken pox.
Well, I was worried I had like shingles or something.
Yeah.
But I guess shingles hurts. It doesn't itch.
Okay.
And it's only on one side of the body.
Gotcha.
And I got this everywhere.
Yeah.
Because shingles is a form of chicken pox.
Yep. 1 in 3 adults that get it, I guess, from according to the commercials.
That's crazy.
Anyway. Okay. Next feedback.
I think that's it.
Okay.
I think that
Cool.
is it for feedback. Oh, the question of the week was describe your most recent gaming binge. Idaho Jake did a little bit. He said he played Ark
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday last weekend. Mine was when I played Bloodborne
Right.
on last weekend. I played for a good 10 hours straight with some breaks there to play with the dog that I was dog sitting,
Uh-huh.
take him outside and stuff like that. But ate Kraft macaroni and cheese and just played Bloodborne. Kraft macaroni and cheese for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I kid you not.
That's amazing.
3 square meals.
Nothing wrong with that. Max would be proud. That's one of his favorite things nowadays.
Oh, yeah. I eat too much mac and cheese. And it's also a good meal starter.
Yeah.
Because you can add anything to it.
Yeah, you can add like hamburger to it or
Bacon.
yeah, hot pepper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I was trying to think of my most recent gaming binge. I haven't had like a good gaming binge in a very long time. That's if you don't count Extra Life.
Yeah.
Which, I tend to go with my gaming binges being like one game that you sit down and play a lot of.
Mm-hmm.
The last one I can think of would be Halo 3.
Oh, wow.
Which was a long time ago. That I actually like had planned ahead and gotten like snacks, and I bought myself a 12-pack of Sam Adams fall. Well, Oktoberfest, that's what it was. Got myself a 12-pack of Oktoberfest and played Halo for, Halo 3 when it first came out for 8 or 10 hours.
Wow.
One of those ones that played through the campaign the first night and then started playing online. And, I had frozen pizzas and pizza rolls and all that crap to go along with my 12-pack of Oktoberfest. That's the last one I remember. I might have had another one, like another shorter one for then, but...
Don't you get sleepy drinking beer, though, and playing games?
Not if you keep drinking beer.
I have a hard time doing that.
I was also 23 or 24.
Yeah.
It was a while.
Yeah.
It was in my younger days. I don't think I could do that now. But what about you, Will? I can think of one specific gaming binge.
I have 2. One was a shorter one. It was when Corey... It was before I started working, and Corey was home, and we played Heroes for, I think, 12 hours in a day.
Yeah.
You remember you had my friend's laptop?
That was a good day.
That was a lot of Heroes,
I'll
and
say.
I'm surprised we didn't rage quit either.
No, we had fun. Well, it was before things got bad.
That's true.
It was still beta, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was still beta. Not a lot of people were in. I remember, like, me and you and, like, one of my friends was playing, and Eric was playing with, like, another group, and we're wondering if we're going to get matched up with them.
That would have been fun.
That would have been terrible. But my biggest one, which I've talked about on the podcast, was Terraria.
That's what I was going to say.
Putting in 100 hours in a week.
Oh, my God. That's ridiculous.
I know, right? I can't believe I did that.
That's a week-long binge.
I look back on it, and I'm like, how did I pull that off?
How did you not get a blood clot?
Well, because, Dan, you will know the setup. You know in my room, that little table next to my TV?
Yeah.
That's when my computer was on that.
Oh.
And my chair was higher than the table. So, like, I was sitting up high, hunched over.
Oh. That's awful.
With my little mouse.
I used to be able to do stuff like that. I can't now. I've got to be perfectly comfortable.
I remember at points, like, my back would hurt so bad, I would just lay on my bed and stretch it out. Because it would just hurt.
Yeah. I remember playing Gears of War 3 for long hours, sitting on my coffee table in front of my television for 6 hours or whatever.
Because we would do Horde.
Yeah, Horde mode. Yeah, that was fun, but man, my back would hurt when I got done with that.
Dan, no Guild Wars 2 binge?
I don't think so. I really don't, because my son had been born at that point. I haven't had any gaming binges since he's been around, I don't think. Maybe a little bit of Star Wars The Old Republic when that first came out, because he was still a little guy at that point, and
Didn't
I
do
would
much
play,
but sleep.
Yeah, he would sleep and lay around. He was baby blob. That's all I can think of.
You just gotta wait till he could play games, and then you guys can have a little LAN party.
I know. Can't wait. Can't wait to start having him. Hopefully not beat me, but play with me in video games. I'm not ready to lose to him yet.
No, I don't blame you.
Throw him out. Throw him right out on the street.
You don't want to pass the torch just yet.
No.
You still got a little something in the tank.
I'm like
Rocky.
no, I was thinking Mr. Alaska. What's the older guy's name? It's Russell Crowe.
I can't remember his
character's name. But that be like him,
Still got something to prove.
Still can play. Still can play. Question of the week for next week.
I don't have one. I'm sorry.
That's right.
Well, I was gonna save the one we did this week for next week because we didn't have any responses to it, but we got one, and
Right.
that's enough in my opinion.
Uh-huh.
So I'll come up with something and make a post about it on Facebook and Twitter once it's up on the website. Just got to remember to do that.
Sounds good. Next week, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm gonna have a busy weekend though, so who knows if I'll get to it.
I know that's my problem too. I'm kind of looking forward to fall for once because I've run around like a chicken with my head cut off all summer.
Yeah.
It's been an insane summer, so kind of for once I'm looking forward to fall because things will quiet down a little bit, at least for a while. Once we get into late October, early November though, or all of November, it's gonna get busy again. But
I can't wait for fall.
Same here.
yeah, I usually don't like it, but I'm out of the things that I hated about fall, like going back to school and leaf maintenance at work. I don't have to worry about either of those anymore. So
Fall's just a great time.
yeah. Next week's topic will be Final Fantasy Type O.
0.
Is it Type 0?
It is Type 0.
Okay, I keep saying Type O.
Well, Kotaku put out an article, I think announcing it, that they had a typo where it was Type O, but it is Type 0.
Gotcha. I keep thinking, blood type O.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I thought it was Type
I
O.
wonder if they named it Type 0 because it's like Final Fantasy 0.
Maybe
That'd
because
be
it's
cool.
not considered to be like in the other series. I
Yeah.
guess
Yeah.
like Tactics.
It is part of the, what's it called? Something Mythos, the Nova Crystallis Mythos,
Okay.
which is that Final Fantasy 13 and Final Fantasy 15, I think.
Okay. It's in that vein.
Yeah. It includes some of the same types of creatures and stuff like that.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's everything for this week's episode. How do I usually end these? My brain is just not working. Thanks for listening.
No.
I really don't.
Close.
I really don't know. That'll do it for episode 213 of the Thumbstick Athletes podcast. I'm your host, Dan.
Will.
Corey.
Thanks for listening, and get out of my basement. My brain really just stroked off there for a minute.
That
right.
was the best way to end the episode.
Yeah, but like I haven't done that since I've been, we used to drink heavily, and
Yeah.
I used to forget how to finish an episode.
See, you used to mess up the intro.
Now it's just
Now it's just the outro sometimes.
outro.
That was funny.
Yeah, my brain legitimately stroked off for a minute there.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Sleep deprivation,